Good evening, Speed Racing Network fans. This is Dean Brummett here with my co-broadcaster Sean Griffith on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. Sean, it looks like here that someone else has been sitting in my seat here recently, buddy.
Man, a lot of people have been sitting in your seat recently. I'm really glad to have you back, man. It's good to see you again.
Oh, man, it's good to see you, too. Well, I have to give them my seat to sit in because, heaven knows that there's no way they're going to fill these shoes. So, just do what we can, man. It's great to be back here for the next couple weeks and come through. I tell you what, it's kind of amazing just to see how much the pre-race show and everything's changed here, buddy.
Yeah, man, everything has changed. We're in a new season now. I know we're in week 3 of the season, but you haven't been around for the first 2. But, man, a lot of new drivers out there, a lot of new teams out there. Just everything has changed, but everything's the same all over again.
Same fiery competition. That's all that I could ever hope for, buddy. And that's the joy here of this Speed Racing Network 20-week series, man. These guys are going to go through, going to run it as hard as they can, especially in those playoffs. But tonight, man, we have the Monster Mile. It's going to earn that name for a reason with our Dodging Delaware 150 laps tonight. A big change this season to the Speed Racing Network Xfinity Series. No fast repairs that these drivers will get, Sean.
And really the talent level of these drivers in the Xfinity Series has actually gone up. And so because of that, we felt like it was necessary to get rid of that fast repair. Let's see that talent rise to the occasion. And they've done a really great job of that in the last 2 weeks. Kansas last week was an amazing race. Daytona was as clean as it could possibly be. I mean, it's Daytona after all. But here we are on a short track here tonight, and we'll see how clean they can keep it. It's a tough track out there.
Oh, yeah, man. It's one of the toughest. I know last season I had a heck of a time trying to corral this track. Finally got a little bit of advice in my ear from a spotter, changed a few things up, and kind of went to the front, got me a top 5 finish out of that. But, last season I know that we have Jovi Sagiped in our 3 car this evening. He won this last season, Sean, so he's going to be looking to go through and make it perfect, make it 2-2.
Yeah, now last season they actually did a great job here as well. So only 6 cautions for 22 laps, and I say only 6 cautions. We're talking 150 laps around a 1-mile track with all these cars right up next to each other. I mean, that's as good as you can hope for on a short track.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is the crazy part about Dover. Mile-long track, so I can't even consider it so much a short track, Sean, but it drives so much like one. But you have so much speed. I mean, you're talking 170 miles an hour right before you drop off. 3 stories worth of banking. It is an actual 3 stories from the top of the track to the bottom. You drop 3 stories down to that bottom line there. And, the racing's close. Those walls, though, out of turn 2 and out of turn 4, they will sneak up on you fast, and I think we're going to see plenty of that tonight here.
Oh, man, we're going to see a ton of people clipping the walls. I know last night in the Truck Series, that really affected the race because some of our best drivers clipped the wall just a little bit, and the damage model that iRacing has on it, it doesn't destroy the car, but it certainly slows you down.
Yep, and there is nothing worse than having ill handling and being slow here, Sean. So, like I said, we'll see these drivers tonight, 150 laps, no fast repairs, and we're going to see probably the cleanest one come out of it. And just like at the rest of the season, 20 weeks, fixed setup, so every driver's got the same setups in their car. You may see them different cosmetics, different manufacturers. It's going to be $10 a week for these guys to race, and we pay out each week and at the end of the season $500 to our champion at the end of the season, Sean. And then you got probably the most unique thing in any racing series, league, anything I've ever seen. You've actually got team championships here. $200 will be split amongst one team.
And I love the team championship aspect of it because, in a normal race on iRacing, you get damaged, you go out of the race because you're not going to win the race and you kind of just want to be out there to win. But when there's a team setting involved and your points could matter towards that team championship, you stay out there and you get to the finish line any possible way you can. And so really that's allowed a lot of people to stay out there on the track and make the race even more interesting.
Yeah, and, a lot of the times you'll go through and you'll have to fight for every position. You'll sit there with a car maybe that's not exactly up to par just in hopes that you manage to go through and get a better finish.
Oh man, it's every single race we're gonna see that. We're gonna see those guys that if the car can still run, they're gonna stay out there, and hopefully they just kind of stay out of everybody's way if that's the case. But every little point helps, and we saw that last season where 1 point decided somebody getting into the playoffs and making it through to the next round as well.
It decided that money, Sean. And, we love talking about money here. Race payouts, first place going to get $30 here this evening. And every other week, you're also going to have second place going to be bringing home $20. Third place going to be 10. Fourth place will be 10. And fifth place will be 10. So if you manage yourself a top 5 finish, you're at least going to get your entry fee back.
Definitely, and that's the name of the game. Just survive until you get down to the finals, to get down to the playoffs, because in the playoffs this season, instead of 5 positions, we're paying out 8 positions. And so even more money out there on the line. Again, first place $500, second place $300, all the way down to 8th place getting just $20. But hey, top 8 in a league like this is an impressive feat to begin with.
So, Sean, I'll tell everybody at home, a couple seasons ago when I first started, when we went under the moniker of Mid-South Madness, that's all we ran that season was the Xfinity Series cars. And I was actually one of your drivers there for Stryker Motorsports. And, after a trip to the hospital that is very well documented, I remember telling you, man, every little kid's dream at some point in time is to get to grow up and drive race cars for a living. Or get paid at least to drive race cars. And, man, I got to do it for you. It's led to some great things. And here we are, man. These guys are getting paid to drive race cars. It may not be the big, powerful ones. They may not get that sense of speed, but it's like I tell people all the time, fake race cars, but you spend real money, buddy.
Well, man, out here in Speed Racing Network, you don't just get the money for being mediocre. You got to be the best. And in order to be the best, a lot of times you need to talk to the best and learn from the best. And the best out there right now, Kane Cook, Sim Coaching. Kane Cook, one of those guys on the Coca-Cola series right now, racing for $300,000, the highest series in iRacing. And he could help you get around the track. And we've got a couple guys out there tonight that have been working with him all week.
It's kind of crazy how much, the racecraft can change with these guys here, Sean. Kane has gone through and, definitely helped a lot of these Xfinity and truck guys and Cup guys and, just those little things that you wouldn't think would make a difference in a car. That little bit less tire wear, that little bit extra speed, that extra half a tenth here, half a tenth there. It all adds up over the course of a race. And, I have done a few sessions with Kane, and the biggest thing I can say is whatever you take out of it, you'll never forget it.
That is absolutely correct. And I mean, just keep in mind that what he is known for more than anything is starting in the back of the pack and working your way all the way through the front safely. And that is going to be something that these guys here tonight desperately need to learn, is how to work from the back of the pack to the front of the pack without getting into wrecks while keeping that car clean. And man, you can't have anybody better than one of those guys that's up there in the Coca-Cola series. But, Dean, you haven't been around for a few weeks, and I hope you've been watching, because we've got a brand new segment this season that I absolutely love doing. It is the Beer of the Week, brought to you by Beer Street Journal, and here we are with week number 3 with another great brew. This week's Beer of the Week comes out of Highland Brewing in Asheville, North Carolina. October is just around the corner, and Highland Brewing is setting up to release their Clawhammer Oktoberfest beer for the 11th straight year. Any beer that can maintain a following for 11 years is obviously incredible, but with the lead time that is needed to produce a lager like this, Highland Brewing has taken extra care to continuously put out one of the best fest beers brewed here in America. This beer is as timeless as it is delicious. It's toasty, light-colored, rich, full-bodied, crisp, and clean. Just like Oktoberfest, this beer is definitely German-inspired, but it's made right here in the good old US of A. So go grab a stein and try out this beer. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by Beer Street Journal, the leading publication in reviewing craft beers from across the country. Go to beerstreetjournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 to enjoy, and please drink responsibly. Once again, beerstreetjournal.com. Go there and find your next great beer. They have reviews for all sorts of different beers, but of course with Oktoberfest coming up, this is the perfect time for you to try that beer out. Yeah,
I tell you what, Sean, I live close enough to Asheville, North Carolina. Might have to Might have to give a stop down there. I definitely love some Oktoberfest beer. It's all any Oktoberfest beer that you get is always unique in its own right. It's something that you're not going to have the rest of the year. But man, definitely want to thank Beer Street Journal for coming on here to sponsor this beer of the week. And Sean, let's continue here with the healthcare billing pre-race show.
Well, let's talk about our inside the cut drivers right now. And of course, we cut to the top 15 once we get to playoff time. Right now, there's 16 drivers inside the cut because we do have a tie down there on the cut line with Devin Zimmerman and Josh Goen. But you do have Jovi, who's picking up right where he left off last season. And keep in mind, you said it earlier, Jovi won this race last season as well.
Yeah, man. Jovi up there at the top. I remember watching the championship finale last season. Jovi definitely kicking himself in the pants for how that thing ended, but he kept his nose to the grindstone, worked hard during the off season, and man, I mean, just look at some of these guys, how hard they've worked. You're talking about Seth Reed here in second, Bo Tiffany. I mean, Bo was a name we really didn't call too much at the top of the boards last season. Ryan Phillips, Christopher Darling, some new names here that I myself not too familiar with. I look there from 6th to 10th. Let's take a look here. I mean, just my one I want to look at, Greg Olenek, went completely winless last season, got to the final race of the year, won last week. That's 2 wins in 3 races in this series for Greg.
Yep, and he's been working with Kane Cook a lot. In fact, he has told everybody that can possibly listen to him that Kane Cook is responsible for that. So again, book that time with Kane Cook because it is working. But some other names that are on there, Daniel Bowler down there in 14th, Devin Zimmerman right there on the cut line, Ted Rekich there, who was a playoff driver last season as well. Devin Zimmerman, a playoff driver, Daniel Bowler, a playoff driver. So a lot of playoff drivers from last season showing their faces again here. But, the new drivers, Seth Reed, Ryan Phillips, Christopher Darling, Jack Hedgecox, all these guys that are brand new to the series, they are really, really putting it on some of these guys.
Yeah, and here's the crazy part about it, Sean. I feel like when it comes to playoff racing like this, you have 2 schools of thought. You have the guys kind of up here in the top 5, top 10 who, they want to give it everything that they've got from the very start. You have some guys who may think, okay, we can use the first few races as kind of like developmental races, and we've got a long time to work in it. And you do have a long season to try and work in, but Sean, you don't want that, like we said, 1 point at the start of the season to dictate you not making the playoffs at the end of the regular season.
Exactly. Everybody worries about those later races, but these are the races now where you put yourself in the right position. And some of these guys outside the cut need some good races right now. I'll tell you one that's really sticks out to me. Ryan Ducombe down there in 30th position. That is not normal for him at all. Corey Saucier in 36th position. One of our best truck series drivers last season, all the way down on the list. And so really a lot of work to be done by some of these guys. But, hey, week 3 out of 20, actually out of 13 before we get to the cut. But they got some time to do this.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Sean. I am one of those drivers when it comes to somewhere like Daytona, week 1 of the season. I go through and always look at Daytona kind of as a throwaway race. Yes, it's going to pay points, but that is a race that is solely based off nothing but sheer unadulterated luck. To me, there's not a ton of skill. There is some that goes into it. You get to Kansas last week. You have a line-sensitive track. Very, very difficult to drive and keep tire wear down. Same thing here at Dover this week. Once you get past Daytona, buddy, you're into the regular season. And like you said, you got Ryan Ducombe. I still think he's partying a little bit from from another win he had in the Cup Series there. I think he's ready to get back at it. But like you said, you got a lot of great names here. Some I may not recognize per se, but it's early in the season. But it's the time now, if you're these guys towards the bottom, it's time to get it in gear, man.
Definitely. Now, some of these teams also, they've got to kind of get into gear, but one of those teams up at the very top, you know it very, very well, Roel Motorsports. You drive for them in the Cup Series, and right now, Roel Motorsports is actually the top of the board in all 3 series.
Yes, sir. Always nice to have it at the top of the board there, and then you got R&D Motorsports there in second with 1 win, just 2 points behind, still early in the season. Tank Racing there in third, Stryker Motorsports in fourth, Rev Reloaded in fifth, Jonathan Byer Racing in sixth, Rev Racing in seventh with 1 win. Kind of funny how Rev Reloaded, the second team, is outperforming the original. Highline Racing there in 8th, and then the team I made the debut for at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, Smith Road Racing, rounding out the points. So a lot of season left, but these drivers are, as much as everyone wants that individual championship, you want those bragging rights as the team too, Sean.
Well, keep in mind that this season, brand new rules for the team championship. The first 13 weeks are seeding, and so the top 8 teams will get into the bracket. And so once we get to week 13, we go into bracket style: 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. They race those first 3 weeks of the playoffs, and then we figure out who the winner between those two are, and they move on. It's going to be a great time. I think it's going to be even better than last season, but we're running a little short on time, so let's introduce these teams very quickly to everybody with our team introductions here tonight. We will start off with Roel Motorsports.
Yeah, Sean. So here with Roel Motorsports, my team in the Cup Series, team I'm very, very familiar with, know all these guys very, very well. You got the number 3 of Jovi Sagiped, also going to have the number 6 of Daniel Bowder, the 7 of Ryan Ducombe, the 9 of Logan Joyner, and the 14 of Zach Taylor. One of the few teams, Sean, that every one of their drivers has a win in this Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and they're going to be tough to beat this season, but one of those teams that's hot on their tails is R&D Motorsports, and you mentioned earlier they do have that one win on the season already with Ryan Phillips, so they've got a really good start to this season, and they've still got some other drivers there that could potentially pick up wins this season.
Yeah, man, you got drivers like Dylan Patterson, Bo Tiffany, Corey Saucier, Stan Houseman, very, very consistent drivers, run with all of them.
Definitely. Tank Racing is up next, and most of their drivers are the same old drivers that we had last season in the Xfinity Series, but we do have a new driver in there as well, and that is Vincent Cortez and Adrian Schumacher as well, new to this series. Vincent Cortez, we knew him from last season, great driver there, and Adrian Schumacher has been putting on some performances here as well.
Some of the best paint schemes and consistent drivers, Sean. Like you said, a bunch of returning drivers. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Definitely, and the sentimental pick for you and I, we started off Stryker Motorsports a couple of seasons ago in Mid-South Madness, and here is Stryker Motorsports here in the Xfinity Series, and you see it there, fast as lightning. They've got Jose Castellanos, our broadcast partner from Wednesday and Sunday nights, Brandon Domain, Tyler Markle, Jack Hedgecox, and Josh Goen there. So a lot of good drivers on the Stryker Motorsports team as well.
Always happy to see that team rolling, Sean. Next up here on the Healthcare Billing Inc. pre-race show, you got Rev Racing.
Rev Reloaded.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I tricked you. I tricked you.
See, that's what happens when you're not in the booth. Well, Rev Reloaded, sitting a little higher than the regular Rev Racing. You got Danny Dow, longtime driver here, Marshall Stanley in my number 25, Adam Pettit in the 58, Josh Siegfried in the 60, and Nate Nixon there in the 98.
Yeah, man, they've got a bunch of wins between them in this series as well, so they've got a good chance to move up the list a little bit more. But one of those teams that hasn't had any wins, which is shocking to me, is Jonathan Byer Racing, and they are all about consistency and speed, and they are extremely consistent. In fact, they're always high up the ranks, even though they don't have those wins, which means they have good top 5 finishes a lot.
Yes, sir. Between Josh Marcy, Josh Whipp, Brian Huntley Jr., Nathan De La Rosa, and Zach Duchier. Basically, when I go through and look at this team, man, I remember watching them in the Truck Series last season. There was a lot of races that they should have won, a lot of races that they could have won. They bring that level of consistency here into the Xfinity Series. They will win. It is not if, it is.
Just a quick shout out to Zach Deuscher there. We were talking earlier about that beer of the month, and he is German, so it's kind of a fun thing that he's German, and we got some Oktoberfest beer going on. But now we get into Rev Racing, the original Rev Racing, and you'll see here we got Greg Olenek there with that win. Ted Rekich, an amazing driver. Aaron Gerwitz, an awesome driver. Landon Lacey is on fire. He is on the pole right now. Jordan Bain also up there towards the top of the list.
Yes, sir. Great team. You see that wonderful silverback Tax Solutions logo there on the 09 of Aaron Gerwitz. Like I said, I think Greg Olenek is going to keep that recent success he's had up and that momentum deep into this season.
Yeah, another new team this season, Highline Racing, and they only have 3 drivers on this team, but one of those drivers is Seth Reed, who is up in second place in the standings, so he is keeping them going. But Daniel Keith and Wayne Rayburn, they've got a couple of decent finishes as well. We got to get them a little bit further up that list.
Yeah, going to be hard for these guys to really pull off a team championship here, Sean, when you're only counting the best, the top 3 drivers. These guys have 3. Let me tell you something, buddy. They start rolling those finishes up towards the top of the board, and especially with Seth Reed being as high as he is, feeding that information down, this is a team that they're not out of it yet.
And the last team that we have on the list, but certainly not least at all, Smith Road Racing. And they kind of formed together last week as an official team. And so they've got 4 drivers now. They have a new driver this week, not new to the series, Tristan Bailey. So welcome back, Tristan Bailey, to the series. And we've seen him with some good finishes.
Yes, sir, we sure have. You know, you got Dustin Scruggs in the 11, Chris Darling there in the 38, Tristan in the 88, and Sean Hamilton there in the 89. Like I said, I'm honored here, Sean, to have put this team through their first race at Daytona. Didn't quite give them the finish that they needed, but like I said, man, this is the round out here. Got 3 independent drivers in Ed Shearer, Ben Quimbley Jr., and Rhett Tucker. So, Sean, that is going to be the end of our Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. Let's go down to the track, take a look at qualifying times for the Dodging Delaware 150.
Well, like we said, Landon Lacey up there on the pole, but look at who's in second place. Rev Reloaded and the Rev Team captain and owner, Adam Pettit.
Yeah, then there in third, you have R&D Motorsports of Stan Hausman, Dylan Patterson there in fourth, Corey Saucier in fifth, Greg Olenek in sixth with his strong runs, Ryan Ducom in seventh, eighth is Josh Marcy, ninth is Jordan Bain. Vincent Cortez is going to qualify in 10th. Rounding out the top 12 is Tristan Bailey in 11th, and 12th will be Rhett Tucker on that independent side.
Yeah, a lot of R&D Motorsports there in the top 5. 3 of the top 5 in R&D Motorsports, so it looks like they are going to try to improve on that second place team standings position. If they can just keep it up towards the front, then they could have that by the end of the night tonight.
Well, Sean, I tell you, this is always the fun part here when you get to the end of the pre-race. The motors are fired. You see them down here on the grid. You know, we look back. You can see your favorite drivers on this on our ticker to the left side going all the way back through the field here. Sean, I don't know. I might be missing something here somewhere, but I do not see Jovi Sagiped. Did I happen to miss him on the grid?
You're not missing him on the grid. He is not here with us tonight, and so he will lose that points lead here tonight. However, everybody does get 3 drop weeks for the first 13 weeks of the season, so he's going to be just fine. He just couldn't make it here tonight.
Well, definitely a disappointment here, you know, in terms of trying to go for a perfect run at Dover, but, you know, this opens the door wide open for all these other drivers. So, Sean, I guess the big question here as we go through all these drivers, we have a list from top to bottom, 150 laps here at Dover. We know how important track position, pitting, consistency, everything is going to be here. Who is your favorite to win this race tonight?
Man, I got to tell you, so last season there was one of these guys here in the top 5 that had a really, really good showing here at Dover, and that was Dylan Patterson here in the 8 car. So he had a fantastic showing. I believe he finished 3rd last season in this race. And so with him starting up in 3rd, I really think he's got a good shot to take it all the way.
Well, man, I tell you, as I go through and I look through this whole field, top to bottom, left to right, a winner can come from any point here at Dover. Starting towards the front is going to be a huge part of it, though, especially depending on where a wreck may happen. I know Greg Olenek is hot right now. He definitely loves this track probably as much as any of them. Buddy, I got to go with that Moo and Brew machine there on the outside in that 31.
Man, never a bad deal to take the hot hand. Never, ever a bad idea. So here we go. We're going to get the pace car off the track, and we are going to get this party started with Landon Lacey taking the green flag here.
Well, the pace car is off. The field is in the hand of Landon Lacey. He's going to wait a little bit, and the green flag is going to come out. We are racing in Dover.
Wow, Adam Pettit got a great start already.
Up the start-finish line. Caution is out. Looks like Aaron Gerwitz around. Car is up and around.
91.
Zimmerman. Logan Joyner in the 9 back there.
The 09 of Aaron Gerwitz is turned sideways. You got Logan Joyner involved. You got Zach Deuscher, who went over a pit wall. All sorts of trouble really, really early in this race. Adam Pettit got a fantastic jump there at the very, very beginning. But we will have to see how this all sorts out. But that's going to give us a shot to go ahead and get to our very first Rec Replay, brought to you by Beer Street Journal. And as always, please drink responsibly.
Well, Sean, the starts and restarts here at Dover are always a crazy one, the way the field stacks up. I have a feeling you're going to see this big accordion effect. Let's see what happens here. The field wait a little bit. Yeah, it looks like the 20 gets stacked up just a little bit. Drivers start running into the back of one another. Cars go flipping everywhere, and that's that can be any restart here at Dover. Such a narrow track, Sean. You would just have nowhere to go. And for Logan Joyner, last season's champion on the outside looking into the playoffs, needing a good run, that is definitely not how you want to start a night.
Yeah, just a really bad start there. And I'm not sure if the 10 of Ted Rekich didn't get started or what just happened there. So a lot of moving parts to that, and the admins will definitely take a look at everything and see if anybody was actually at fault there. But the list of drivers involved in this thing: Dean, Aaron Gerwitz, Logan Joyner, Zach Deutscher, Wayne Rayburn, you got Josh Witt, Ben Quimby Jr., Jack Hedgecox, Tyler Markle, Seth Reed, our second place in the points, Brian Huntley Jr., Devin Zimmerman, Nathan Nixon. I mean, all of these guys were involved in some way or another. I mean, already knocking down this field by about 10 drivers, 10 cars.
Yeah, and like I said, Sean, that is never how you want to see any type of a race start. You know, that type of carnage is something you expect in pack racing at Daytona, but it's just so tight here. And like I said, I can't really point the finger one way to anybody or the other. This accordion effect here, especially when you have someone out front like Adam Pettit who goes through, kind of gives it just a couple minutes here, you know, to say, hey, we're going to wait, and then he goes, right? Kind of stacks that field up. Now, that's nothing against Pettit. He did nothing wrong.
No, I think he did it right, actually.
Yeah, he's got the field in his control. He can do what he wants to, but everybody behind him has to be watching to see what's going on in front. And when you got those jitters at the start of the race, that's what happens.
Well, actually, Landon Lacey had the green flag, and he waited until the green flag happened, and Adam Pettit actually got the jump on him. I think he hit start-finish line a little bit before Landon Lacey, which is okay as long as that green flag is out, and I think he did just that, and that's why he's up in first right now.
Oh, gotcha. See, that's what happens when I don't look at the qualifying sheet. Yes, yeah, you're right. Landon Lacey had that inside, and new rule this season here, Sean. Initial starts, they got to go on green. The leader, if I'm not mistaken, they go on green. The leader doesn't get to pick that initial start.
No. The initial start typically goes off of the green flag, and that's what they were waiting on. And Adam Pettit just got a really, really good jump on that. So yeah, a little bit of a cluster here at the very, very beginning, already with 3 cars that are either in pits or already out of the race. And so and I think everybody else is still on that lead lap. But yeah, a lot of damage out there.
Yeah, long race to go, and we kind of mentioned the team championships, the individual standings, everything of that sort. If you're one of those drivers that got caught up in that wreck early, it's going to be a long night, right? You're not going to have a ton of fun. You're not going to have a lot of speed. You're not going to be competing for too awful much, but the only thing you can really kind of hope for, you kind of hope for a few more wrecks along the way, a few more guys have some unfortunate laps, and you can maybe make up some spots by night's end.
Yeah, and I think everybody's just trying to kind of get reorganized here after that first lap caution, and so looks like we are going to get to the 1 to green here, I believe, is they're going to let all the wave around cars go by, and we'll get that entire crew all bunched up next to that pace car there, and Adam Pettit is going to get the restart on this one.
Yep, and now he's got the control of the field here, Sean. So whereas last time they had to wait, and they had to wait, and they had to wait, and they had to wait, then they finally got to go green. This time they can kind of go through. Adam Pettit can choose when he goes, so long as the pace car is off, and that may help this field not stack up quite as much. But as you see those wave around cars kind of get to the back of the field, a lot of missing front bumpers. So Arrow is not exactly in a happy place right now.
No, and with no fast repairs at all, and that is a big change for a lot of these drivers that drove in the series last season. They're not used to not being able to come down and get that fast repair, and so now those cars will be damaged for the rest of the race, but Adam Pettit is going to take off early. He doesn't want any part of that restart.
No, he wants to get gone, and get gone he does past the start-finish line. Adam Pettit heads for turn number 1. Landon Lacey trying to fight off Dylan Patterson in second. Patterson there on the preferred line as they head up out of turn 2. These cars get super squiggly out of turn 2 here, Sean. They may get real tight. You're going to see cars washing up into that turn 2 wall all night. Same thing here as they head through the middle of 3 and 4. Now, out of 4, those cars unload. You can just see how much those front ends are moving as the suspension loads and unloads on this track.
Well, you've raced against Adam Pettit plenty of times, and his MO is to get out front and then kind of take it easy a little bit. He does not want to wear those tires out, so he is in the exact position that he wants to be in, where he can get out there and he can maintain a line, not wear out the tires, because he is good on the long runs.
Yep, and that's a thing, Sean, that I have really wanted to try to pride myself in lately is taking care of some of your equipment a little bit better. There's nothing better than being the leader. You get out to a little bit of a lead, you kind of start taking care of your equipment, and then as everybody else is fighting, digging, trying to get to you, you're kind of taking it easy, and then when they get to you and you kind of pick up your pace a little bit, you're faster than they are because you've still got some left in the bank.
Well, out there in the chat right now, Ben Quimby Jr., while we were under caution, it looks like he sent a message in the YouTube chat that says, can confirm that the 29 is killed, but he's still going out there. He's back in 25th, and car's looking a lot beat up, but he is still running around this circle.
Well, man, hey, to me, I look at it, and I know it's going to be some damage, but hey, Ben's out there running that open wheel modified with these fendered stock car boys, so he might have a little bit of an advantage over some of these guys.
I mean, if he can just keep this thing going straight, he's going to pull out a pretty decent finish to begin with, because I have a feeling we're not done wrecking the rest of the night, because this is, in my opinion, a short track, and a lot of times on iRacing, short tracks don't mix very well.
And you see right there, right behind them, some cars kind of getting into that accordion effect. 23 just barely, I couldn't tell if he touched the wall or not, but barely looked like he did. And then everything kind of stacks up behind him. Saw Devin Zimmerman kind of drop out of line there. Dylan Patterson right now really hasn't gained anything on Adam Pettit, and Landon Lacey's just stayed right in his tire tracks. He's got that Oreo car tonight, but right now, buddy, he's the cream in the middle of that sandwich.
Definitely, and Landon Lacey has been working on hot laps all night long, and in fact, that's what got him out to the pole. That's what got him as the leader in practice and that sort of thing. But he was also talking an awful lot of trash with Greg Olenek last night in the booth while we were broadcasting the truck race. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out as two teammates. Landon's up in third, and Greg is back in seventh.
Well, you see these cars pretty well single file, but you see back the occasional two wide, something like that. This track, like I said, not being very wide and just the passing having to be so precise with it, Sean. You saw last night in that truck race, a little bit of momentum loss in front of you can be the difference in you catching a front nose clip on the tail end of your vehicle and you driving away from it.
Yeah, really not a lot of close driving out there on the track right now, which is probably a good thing this early in the race. This is the time to just settle in, get your line, get a few laps under your belt. We can race a little bit later around lap 130 or so, but let's get these cars around the track for a good green flag run.
Yeah, and one of the big things I'm seeing right now here, Sean, especially with Adam Pettit, out front, he's got a very consistent line. You don't see that car swinging around much, like he's not driving it up and down and up and down. That car looks like it's pretty well on the same line every single time. I just saw Dylan Patterson kind of go into the corner behind him, and, his car kind of swung out, and then it dropped low, and, every driver has a different way of running it, but, I've always been told if you don't upset the car won't upset you. And right now, Adam Pettit looks like he's got that thing about on rails.
Yeah, you can see his hands are not moving very much at all coming off these corners, which is really rare out here. In fact, let's jump back a little ways, and I'm just going to pick somebody at random here. Let's go to Daniel Keith Jr., and let's see his turn off the corner here. Yeah, and actually, that was pretty good. That wasn't bad.
Well, he's got a lot more wheel in it. You see how much deeper he drives in? Like, he's up on that high side here, Sean. He's running that high lane, that middle lane. As the 43 goes past him there, he kind of rolls over and lets him by. Let's see what he does here with no type of anything in front. Yeah, he's running that middle groove. And here's the cool part. You have multiple grooves you can run it on this track. Sometimes you'll have a guy like that wants to go up, get it rubbered in first, just so he can try to be the first one to run it. But like I said, whatever's the quickest way around, you better figure it out. You better get it quick. And right now, it looks like Josh Marcy's trying to be a little quick here, trying to get to the back bumper of Greg Olenek.
Yeah, Greg Olenek just passed him by, and it looks like Vincent Cortez is right on his tail now, too, as well. But Greg Olenek trying to work his way up there into the top 5 so he can catch up to his teammate Landon Lacey.
And I think that that 35 car, Sean, looks like it's starting to handle a little less than ideal. You know, you can kind of see him move up into the corners just a little bit, but it just doesn't look like he's able to get to the bottom of the track quite as fast. You see him; he's about a half a groove up. He moves up real high, drops it down low, trying to get that run off the corner. And you just see Greg Olenek, you know, it doesn't look like he pulls away by much, but just a little bit by little bit, he's starting to pull away from the 35. And that could be those Kane Cook coaching sessions there, Sean, starting to come into effect. Tire wear, you know, Greg may have been taking care of his stuff so far and just going to work his way to the front.
Now, right in front of them, Ryan Ducombe, we spoke about him earlier. He is way down the list in points, but this will get him right back up that list, right where he belongs. And so he is on fire right now. He is up in 5th place, started off in 7th, so he has moved up. We do have a yellow flag, and it's Ted Rekich sideways.
Oh, man, right in the middle of the track, and everybody needs to be hitting the brakes here because he's down low. Everybody needs to get up by the wall and get past him there. But a little bit of rear end damage there, Sean. I can't tell if he maybe took a shot to the rear or what had happened there. But let's take a look here on this rec replay just to see what happened.
Yeah, let's go back and find out what happened with Ted Rekich. And it looks like he's got Rhett Tucker there on his inside as we're coming around the track, and let's find out what happens as we get down into the turns. It looks like Rhett Tucker just kind of got up onto that left rear quarter panel a little bit too hard. It may have been a little bit of net code, but it looked like they were going to touch anyway.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that on board because I swear to you, the way he got in there, it almost looked like that right rear wheel hop, just the way it kind of turned the car. You see how hard he gets down in there. Definitely some net code, I believe, Sean. You saw that initial turn, and then they all kind of came together. So definitely unfortunate, but I don't know if they would have made it through there otherwise. Yeah, it just looks like two drivers kind of trying to take the same piece of real estate, and up into the wall Ted Rekich goes. You know, this is a driver who, you know, he's very, very fast, very, very consistent, Sean. You know, I got to run with him last season in the Cup Series, and if anything, man, I don't think I have seen too many as unlucky drivers as this.
On board with Edward Shearer, two-time winner in the Truck Series, as he's going to come up on this wreck, and he's going to squeak right by Ted Rekich right here. Oh, that's close.
Oh, man, that's perfect there. The spotter's screaming in your ear, you need to go low, you need to go low. And then as soon as Ted starts coming back down the track, low, low, low doesn't become so much of an option anymore. And great move there by him to move to the outside. Fortunate nobody was to his outside, and just pretty much becomes a single car incident. You know, we see the 9 car down here of Logan Joyner coming back to pit road, probably trying to get some of that damage repaired. But out front, Sean, doesn't look like any of our leaders really are going to be trying to come down pit road.
No, we saw this last night, too. The first couple of wrecks of the evening last night, none of the leaders came down. They waited until about lap 35 or so to come down into pit road. So this is pretty common. The tires haven't worn off yet enough to make a massive difference. And if nobody else is coming down, then nobody really gets an advantage.
No, and here's the thing, like, as the tires wear, like, don't get me wrong, you know, 10 laps, tires are already starting to make an advantage, but much like a track like Pocono or Michigan, you know, somewhere of that sort, you've got to have the track position to make coming 4 tires make sense, you know, and here at Dover, you have to run so hard on a new set of tires that by the time you even get to where you can attempt to make an advantage out of them, it's just not worth it. So right now, a lot of these guys staying out, probably the best call for them.
Actually, forgive me, Dean. I just got told in my ear that everybody did pit while we were under rec replay, so that's why we didn't see it. So everybody pitted. So my fault. Forgive me for that, and yeah, so that's kind of what happens sometimes when we're watching the rec replay and trying to figure out what happened. People sneak into the pits, and it looked like the whole crew did, and so Adam Pettit still comes out in first, Landon Lacey in second, Dylan Patterson third, Corey Saucier. Welcome back, Corey Saucier, because he was one of the best drivers down at the Truck Series, moved up into the Xfinity Series, and now he is in the top 5 position.
You know, moving up is one of the hardest things to do there, Sean. especially when you go through and you have such a, you spend 20 weeks getting used to a group of guys and how they drive, how a particular vehicle drives, and then you jump up to another series, you got to relearn it all over again. You're basically, basically a rookie at that point in time again, and he's out here definitely showing that he belongs in this Xfinity series right now.
Yeah, and like we said, every season we got new drivers coming in. We've got drivers moving up, drivers moving down, all sorts of shuffling. So it takes a few races for people to learn how to race with each other out there on the track. But Adam Pettit, man, this guy is kind of the old guard of Speed Racing Network. No offense, Adam. So they just welcomed a new baby not too long ago. So congratulations on that. But man, new father out there out front trying to make his kid proud.
Well, hey, he's got those hospital bills to pay for, so he's out here trying to win those big bucks here, Sean. And right now, he's definitely doing the family proud. Got that new father momentum out front. The pace car pulls off. Field's in the hands of Adam Pettit. We're about to go racing again. He waits a little longer this time, Sean, than what he had. Still on the banking, still waiting. And now he gets on the gas and begins to go.
And that may have been a really good call for him, just because when you're coming off of that banking and you're trying to restart.
Get in the back, Sean.
Oh, boy. It looks like Derek De Silva spinning there on the front stretch.
Yeah, Derek De Silva there in that 5-car. Beautiful looking 5-car. Looked like he went around in the back of the field, Sean. I believe we might have some more accordion effect here to look at with the Beer Street Journal Rec Replay. Always, Beer Street Journal wants you to remember to please drink responsibly. Let's see what happens here, Sean, because like I said, I have a feeling we're going to see some accordion effect.
Yeah, he started way in the back of this restart, and so he's actually the last one on the top side. And it looks like who was that? Let's see.
I cannot tell, Sean.
It looks like an SRR car. I'm wondering if that was Logan Joyner.
No, Logan didn't have a front end there. Let's see. Oh no, he's got it back.
I'm not really sure.
It looked like they disconnected with the pits.
Oh, that was it. Sean Hamilton there in the 89. Let's double check that. I believe it was actually. So,
no.
Yeah, because he's going to get a big run right here. And then coming off that corner,
yeah, that's one of the big problems that you get there, Sean, when you have a guy who may not have a lot of damage on the car, and he's out back around those damaged cars. I'm not sure what had brought him back there. If maybe he had come back down to fix a little damage and was put to the tail end of the field, but he tries to get that jump to the outside. And this track, it's not gonna work with 3 wide. It might for a moment. But just tries to get that jump to the outside, gets into the right rear of Derek De Silva, and in the process of that happening, you see another wreck come out.
Yep, and so far, third caution, not even 30 laps in. So these guys need to settle down just a little bit. And once again, we don't have any fast repairs, so we've really got to kind of get settled in, get some green flag racing. Otherwise, we're going to only have 3 cars left.
Yeah, and that's the last thing that you want to see here, man. I mean, like I said, this is a lot of wrecks and everything happening out back. We definitely don't want to see these type of accidents happening. You've already got wrecked cars, and they're just adding to the total. So, like I said, about a fifth of the way through this one, Sean, almost 20% of the way through this race, these guys are kind of learning these lines, or learning how everything's going. Right now it's time to chill out. Let's just get some green flag laps in. That way everybody can see what they've got in their car.
Yep, and as we're going to go back around one more time, I believe, before we get to the green, just kind of going back down the list here, and the top 5 really hasn't changed that much. Adam Pettit up in first, Landon Lacey second, Dylan Patterson third, Corey Saucier fourth, Ryan Ducombe fifth.
Yeah, hey, consistency breeds consistency, but the rest of the top 10, Josh Marcy there in 6th, Vincent Cortez there in 7th. You got Greg Olenek there in that 31 car in 8th. Got Bain back there in 9th, and then you got Siegfried back in 10th. So, I kind of look there at how these restarts are going. Sometimes if you're farther back in the top 10, like Greg Olenek is, we've seen him kind of bounce from 5th to 8th, everywhere through there. My pick for tonight, sometimes you just got to get that one restart to get it right. And man, like I said, right now it's hard to get those restarts good when you've got so many of them coming.
Got to mention Mike Lepicki. So he had a big resurgence last season, made it into the playoffs, did really, really well. He's kind of down the list right now, but he also missed a race earlier in the season. That's why he's down so far, but up here in 11th. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on as this race gets further and further along.
Definitely good-looking 46 car that he's got there this evening, Sean. He's always come out with good-looking race cars, but I think that is about the best iteration of that Hooters car I think I've seen so far.
Oh, definitely. I love the fact that a lot of our drivers are actually sponsored by these big companies. He's sponsored by Hooters. We have a couple of car dealerships out there sponsoring. We have, a couple of tax firms. We have all sorts of different stuff. We have Moo and Brew, which is a fantastic restaurant bar out there where Greg's at. All sorts of great stuff out here on the car. So it just shows you how much iRacing has grown, how much this league has grown, and so really a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Sean, I was definitely fortunate enough in the offseason to pick up some sponsorship for my Cup Series ride in Sweeper One Carpet Cleaning, in Eastern Roof Technologies, in Marvin Biddick's Remax Select Agent, all of these businesses out of the Lake Norman area, through some friends of some friends, wound up going through and meeting up with these people, basically told them, listen, this league is on the up and up. There's a lot of sponsorship dollars out there, and this week I was running an iRacing official race, had a guy ask me about one of the sponsors and basically said, you know what, I live in the area. I'm going to hit them up as soon as I can to take advantage of their service. But right now the pace car is off. Adam Pettit's going to be out front. He's going to try to take advantage of that restart box. And sure enough, he is gone. Green flag is out. Landon Lacey gets a little bit better of a restart this time, though.
Yeah, he got a little bit better, but Adam Pettit is just an expert on these restarts, and you just really, really have to guess to stay up with him. But it looks like Landon Lacey's just pulling him in already.
Yeah, and right now you got to take advantage of these new tires. You kind of mentioned it at the start of the race, how Adam Pettit loves to get out front, kind of hold his spot.
Yellow flag.
And we have caution again on the speedway here,
Not
Sean.
sure where this one is. I'm not seeing any damage.
I am not certain here, Sean.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing anybody sideways. I'm not seeing.
I don't see anybody trying to catch up to the field. Anything here?
Any issue here? So, not really sure where that is at, and so we apologize for that. But I don't see anything.
Not sure.
I mean, Ted Reckitt's coming back on the track after being in the pits, but he was not involved there.
I guess we're going to call that one of those debris cautions, Sean. How's that sound?
Yeah, we don't normally have debris cautions in iRacing, but every now and then we just got to keep people on their toes. So we will just kind of keep an eye out and see if we hear what happened out there. But I am not seeing it, Dean.
I got you, buddy. Well, kind of going back to my point I was making right before we went back to green, a lot of these drivers, myself included, have been able to pick up some awesome sponsors. And I just want to thank all of my sponsors for giving me a chance to run up in the Cup Series, and the sponsors who have come on board here for our pre-race show, the during the race, and also the people who have gone through taking a chance on these drivers. It's a great investment. Racing fans are some of the most loyal that you will ever meet. I could tell you the first opportunity that I get, some of these restaurants like Moo and Brew, I'm going to be right there. If I ever find myself Sparkle and Shine nearby, we're there as well. So, like I said, guys, we definitely appreciate the sponsorships, the chance you've taken on some of your drivers out there, and Speed Racing Network as a whole. And we definitely look forward to seeing how this grows in the future.
Yeah, and of course that caution allows some people to get a waiver, or not a waiver round, but the lucky dog. So nice little benefit there. Trying to see who that was that just passed by. It looked like it was Tyler Markle in the 42. He's going to get a lap back there. So he's still about 7 laps down, but still every little lap helps.
Absolutely, Sean. Every lap that you can get back is going to help. A little more damage that you can get repaired. You can see the front end kind of smashed in on that 42 car. And right now, man, like I said, I've always equated Dover to kind of like the big brother of Bristol Motor Speedway. They're both concrete ovals. This is a mile to Bristol's half mile. The banking looks very, very similar. When you look down the straightaway, they look very much the same seating type of a configuration, kind of like a Coliseum. And you see so many wrecks happening somewhere like Bristol. And same thing here, Sean. These drivers, they get nose to tail, tempers tend to flare, and buddy, you just never know when it's going to happen.
No, never ever. Let's really quickly, while we have a chance, let's get Adam Pettit up here into the booth and ask him how his race is going. Hey, Mr. Pettit, how you been, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Man, everything is good. I've got Dean Brumman here in the booth with me, but first off, congratulations on the new baby. Hope everything's going well there. And so I'm assuming that he's sleeping peacefully right now.
I hope so. Brooklyn's got him upstairs. I don't know if they were... No, they're probably done with their bash. She's probably feeding them right now.
Well, Pettit, I was telling Sean here, it's awesome for me to be back in the booth for just a couple races. I've seen nothing but just you pulling away this entire night, led every lap so far. So what's been the key to success so far other than being able to control these restarts?
I found out that I pushed too hard on that green flag run we did have. I was talking to my teammates, and all their tires were better, and it makes sense. That's why Dylan was catching me there towards the end. So going to try to take it a little bit easier here, and hopefully I can stretch it out and then maintain it.
Well, buddy, we wish you the best of luck here. Me and Sean were talking. Definitely want to see you bring home some diaper money this evening. So we will leave you to it here, get you back down to your team, and good luck, Mr. Pettit.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Driver Adam Pettit, number 58.
Man, it's good to see him up front again. I know he won a couple races in Mid-South Madness. I don't think he won any races last season, but it is good to see him right back up there in the front where he belongs.
It's always fun here, Sean. And I told someone the other day, like when I'm watching when I'm driving the Cup Series races, it's all about competition. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want anybody besides me to win a race. It doesn't always happen that way, but when I'm sitting here watching these other races, these Xfinities and trucks, and even the Cup Series, when you get a guy who's not normally out front, it's always nice to kind of see the resurgence of a driver or a underdog win a race. And right now you got Adam Pettit out front. Pace car's off. He is away again. It looks like Landon Lacey's going to get a little bit better of a restart, but Little will spin up high as Ryan Ducombe gets to the outside of Dylan Patterson as we enter turn 1.
Yeah, but Adam Pettit breaks away just like he's been doing this entire time, and it looks like our top 4 will level off really, really quickly here as we get around turns 1 and 2.
A big block coming from behind right there. Looks like Ryan Ducombe tried to move down to block a move from Vincent Cortez. Vincent took a peek. Ryan moved down. Not sure if that was one of those, he just couldn't make the move. As you see him drive way to the bottom here, he's going to make Vincent work for this spot as they both go up the track.
And that just allows, I believe that's Corey Saucier right behind them to kind of get right next to him.
I tell you what, I really thought Vincent was going to have all the momentum he needed off of turn 2 to kind of drive to the inside there. Not quite the case, as Dylan Patterson's going to be working on Landon Lacey here for second.
Yeah, Dylan's got that inside line. This is the time to do it with those fresher tires. And but it looks like Landon Lacey's just getting a great run there from the middle of the track.
Well, that's what Dylan Patterson loves to see right now, Sean. He would love to have just moved up, gotten around him, and went on. Right now, he just watched Landon run that outside lane as hard as he can, trying to fight for that position. That's that much more tire wear that's going to be on that 24 car. So Dylan, I think here, in watching him, he's smart enough to know to kind of sit back, let everything happen. He was catching Pettit on our first green flag run of the night. He knows how to save his tires as well. And if that's the way that everybody around you wants to race, so be it. Let them race that way. I'll catch them later in the run.
I'm telling you, Rev Racing and Rev Reloaded, they practice constantly, and when they do practice, they work on tire saving. And that is one thing that Adam Pettit touched on in that interview, is the fact that he found out very quickly from his teammates that he was running too hard. And so because of that, he is going to run a little bit easier right now, but it doesn't look like it's hurting him too badly.
When it comes to running too hard, Sean, and I kind of laugh when I look at it here in the booth because from the driver's point of view, I always say, hey, I don't care what my tire wear is so long as I'm going faster than anybody. If I've still got rubber left on it when we bring it into the pit, so long as I was outrunning people, I don't care. And, you have to save some of it, though, to be able to do that. These cars, they're huge. They don't handle well. And with the horsepower that these Xfinity cars have just propelling them down these straightaways, you're going to burn tires off very quickly. And if you overrun your traction by the slightest little bit, it's going to let you know. But looking back here in 10th, Sean, you got Dustin Scruggs for, like we said, our newest team, Smith Road Racing, running in the top 10, taking a look here for position, it looks like on Jordan Bain.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get by him on the bottom, and it looks like Joshua Siegfried is going to try to pass right through as well. He's going to get that bottom line, and he's going to get that spot also.
Yeah, these guys just continue working around here, Sean. We love seeing these green flag laps. They tick off very, very quickly here, about 21, 22, 23 seconds a lap. So, you know, you don't have a lot of time to react to much of anything. As you see one car get way up out of the groove there. Great save by Corey Saucier. But that's going to let the 35 and the 31 work underneath him. He just needs to fall back in line, kind of pull these tires down, go back and try it again. He's going to take a look, it looks like, but thinks better of it about getting to the inside of Greg Olenek.
Yeah, Greg Olenek, again, has been training with Kane Cook. And one of the things that Kane Cook is known for is working his way through the pack safely and methodically. And that is exactly what Greg is doing right now.
You know, right now when I look at just the top 10 here, Sean, you know, 10th being Josh Siegfried, he's about 3.5, almost 4 seconds behind the leader. You know, you've got everybody from 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1, 1.5. 2 tenths right now, as you see Landon Lacey and Dylan Patterson just really filling up the rearview mirror here of our leader Adam Pettit. You know, there's a lot of room to move here, but if you can hold within that 3, 4, 5 second mark, you can make some move if this thing comes down to green flag pit stops, because your ability to get in and out of the pits, as well as that new rubber speed, that can make all the difference. But right now, just some great racing all around here at Dover Downs.
I will tell you, I have seen races where Adam Pettit has just let a couple cars by rather than race hard against them, because he knows that if he can make those tires last longer than those guys, then he will end up winning the race at the end.
Yep, there is, if you know what your competition is running, Sean, you know how hard they're running, you know how you're running. Sometimes letting somebody go can be the absolute best thing. You kind of see how the 24 and the 8 run a little higher up off the corner than what Pettit does, you know, so he's not using quite all the racetrack that he can. That can burn a little bit of tire up just because you're turning the wheel to the left a little bit more off the corner. You know, there's just so many little things that you can do. One corner he may get outrun, but you look the next corner and he's outrunning everybody, as you see Josh Marcy move under Ryan Ducombe there for looks like the 5th spot.
Yeah, Joshua Marcy up into the top 5 as Ryan Ducombe backs off just a little bit. And again, that could be a tire-saving deal for Ryan as well. And so all these guys are really, really good at saving their stuff to the end. And that's why not only are they so far out in front towards the end of a run, but that's also how they organize their pit strategies as well. So be on the lookout for that if there is a long green flag run here that includes a green flag pit stop, this is going to cause some havoc for the back of the pack.
And you can start seeing a little bit of that traction going away here, Sean. You can definitely tell how, you know, from that point of view right there, Ryan Ducombe, you saw Josh Marcy get into the corner in front of him. You saw the front end set, and the front end kind of moved up the hill just a little bit, whether that be by design or just what traction that he had. From the driver's point of view, I'm going to call it, hey, some front end traction is starting to go away, but, you know, you're just trying to move to find where you can get speed. But like I said, right now, a lot of these drivers ill-handling cars, but doing what they can with them.
Oh, definitely. This is where the lap times start to drop off. And also, remember, the cars become lighter. And as those cars become lighter, as you're coming off of turns 2 and 4, you are really running the risk of spinning out very quickly. They become a little bit harder to control off those corners. And so be on the lookout for that as we get later into the run, of people bouncing off that wall or coming off the wall in the back end coming around.
Oh, yeah, and I think a prime example, if you want to go on board here with Landon Lacey, you can listen to this car, just how it goes through the corners. You know, he's down into the corner, he's off the throttle, he's waiting, he slowly picks it up. Listen to this rear wheel spin when he comes up off the corner. You see the track move, you hear that tachometer, you see it start to bounce just because there's so much rear wheel spin. And guess what, Sean? You don't get away from it over here in turn 4. He's going to arc this corner, come down to the bottom, come off, listen to that tach. Wah, 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 all the way down the corner. And that's every single lap here. That's just what it's going to be, and it's going to get worse and worse. But right now, he is starting to catch his teammate Pettit just a little bit.
And if you don't make that move perfectly, if you don't gas up that car basically perfectly, get to the throttle perfectly, then you are running the risk of spinning yourself out. And not only is that a bad thing because people behind you can wreck, but it's also kind of embarrassing too.
Yeah, it definitely is. And a lot of the times you don't so much kick the rear end out to spin out. If you're going to spin out here, it's because you tried to get too greedy, tried to get into that gas too soon. You slammed that wall coming off the corner, and it just shot you out of there. I think right now you see Adam Pettit, he kind of waits, he's working through some lap traffic as Derek DeSilva gets out of his way. Just listen to his tack when he comes off of turn 2. He goes in a little higher, going to drop it down a little lower. He's going to come off the corner, and the car's going to do the exact same thing. But you don't see his hands moving as much, Sean. And that little bit right there, that wheel hop, so to speak, it's not braking wheel hop, but actually throttle wheel hop. Oh, as a car gets into the wall right in front of him, that can raise the heart rate of a driver in a quick hurry.
Yeah, definitely. And so a lot of these cars will kind of get out of the leader's way and just let them run. And that is very, very courteous of them. Good job by Logan Joyner there, just kind of getting out of the way. Logan, our season champion last year, definitely has some big damage going on, but wanting these guys to race it out on the racetrack.
Well, right there, Sean, there was one thing I just saw Landon Lacey do right there in the middle of 3 and 4. If you look at Adam Pettit, Landon Lacey, Dylan Patterson, Vincent Cortez, all of them, Cortez is starting to creep into this 3-way battle, trying to turn it into a 4-way. One big thing you have to watch out for is getting too low on this surface. You can see where it goes from gray to almost like a blackish surface. You get that left side a little too much on that apron there, Sean, and to the wall you're going to go. As we see a little bit of contact, it looked like there at the start-finish line.
I'm not sure who that was, but somebody got all the way down to the inside wall. No caution. We're still going. But Adam Pettit trying to figure out what he's going to do with this lap traffic in front of them that's side-by-side.
Well, Dylan Patterson knows what he's going to do with Landon Lacey. He moves around him on the entry to turn 3 and 4. Too wide in front of the leader here. We saw this a few years ago in a NASCAR Xfinity race. Dylan Patterson to the inside. He wants the lead.
Yeah,
they're going to be almost 3 wide coming off this corner, Sean. Little contact, but they save it. Contact. Oh, my goodness. What a job there by Adam Pettit.
Definitely Dylan Patterson forcing the issue there, and Adam Pettit touching both. I believe he touched both Dylan Patterson and Daniel Keith and still came out the other side. Daniel Keith up into the wall. This is really treacherous right now.
This is right now, Sean. 4 cars, all the leaders right under a blanket. Dylan Patterson trying to force the issue there. Nothing wrong with that at all, Sean. You see your opportunity in these races. You got to go for it. As Daniel Keith Jr. gets into the wall. Patterson going to look to the inside here, and for the first time tonight, looks like we may have a new leader here at Dover Downs.
Yeah, we're going to have to check in on Adam Pettit's car here because there could be some damage there, and I believe I see some right now. In fact, let's dive in there. Yeah, he's got some scratches there on that right side, and definitely, oh yeah, he hit those cars hard. So not sure how much that's going to affect the car, but he is falling back quickly. He's back to 4th already.
And some of that here, Sean, you can't tell how much is always going to be cosmetic, how much is actually hurting the car. I saw the rear bumper was caved in just a little bit where he had taken a little bit of a shot, and he falls back right now. Definitely want to see what's going to happen with this car. If he's just going to kind of take it easy, run this through this run. You look right here, you got all these cars right under a blanket, Sean. One little slip up, and that could be the end for the rest of the field.
Yeah, and a huge green flag run so far, and hopefully that broadcaster's curse does not come out because I just said that. But the other thing going on, my pick, Dylan Patterson, out front, so he is trying to lift that broadcaster's curse from everyone right now.
Absolutely, Sean, and really when I go back and look at Adam Pettit, he hasn't fallen too much. He's fallen about a second off right now. He is still working through some lap traffic. So right now, the handling on that car, not exactly great. He's hoping to go through, possibly get a caution flag, get some of those fenders pulled out, just something here. And a lot of it, the car may not be handling that great. But when you go through and you have those lap cars in front of you, they don't get out of the way and they cost you a spot at the lead. You're seeing red right now. He needs to calm down, take a deep breath, know how good of a run he's had tonight, start that charge back towards the front.
Definitely, but Dylan Patterson squeaked right on by him and then just started taking off, and so he is 0.6 of a second ahead of second place Landon Lacey, and he is not looking back right now. He is hoping this thing stays green.
Some people like to save tires, and some people like to save an advantage on the racetrack. And right now, Dylan Patterson, he does not care about those tires, Sean. He said, hey, they're going to come back off this car before the night's over with. Let's get everything we can out of it. As you see a lap car in front of him, yellow is out on track.
And it's Ryan Ducombe down in the roll.
Oh, man, that is crazy. He was running up towards the top of the field there a little bit ago, Sean. So we're going to have to take a look and see what happened to the driver of the number 7 here.
Yeah, lots of damage there, but we'll go into our next rec replay brought to you by Beer Street Journal. And we're going to go back and key in on Ryan Ducombe here and see what happened as he was running on the outside of Mike Lepicki, and looks like Devin Zimmerman comes up into the picture as well. And I really think that's going to be netcode. I mean, I saw a lot of space there.
I don't even know if I call it netcode as much as a racing incident there, Sean. I mean, right here with Devin Zimmerman, he's trying to get everything he can. He comes up off the corner just a little bit. Yeah, okay, so it's netcode. They were going to come together one way or the other. But like I said, that's just a racing deal right there, man. Nobody's at fault on that one. Devin just trying to get everything he can. Unfortunate for Ducombe there in the 7 to get a piece of it. Looks like the 4 car got in the outside wall, and poor Logan Joyner has to sit there and see that happen right in front of him. I can't tell if he got any more damage out of that or not.
Well, now everybody coming down into the pits. We had a nice long green flag run, so basically it looked like about 46 laps of green flag run, and these cars can only go about 50. And so really good long run on that one. So as we're coming out of the pits, looks like Dylan Patterson will win the race off pit road, and Landon Lacey right behind as it was before the caution.
Yeah, and with Adam Pettit, you know, I don't know if he had any time to get any damage fixed here.
No, none.
You know, yeah, here's the thing. If you're at the first lap of this race and you've got damage like that, yeah, you may take time to come down and fix it, depending on how the handling feels. Right now, you got too much track position, too many cars on the lead lap to throw that away. Like I said, if you're Adam Pettit, you hope that the handling comes back to the car. You just keep charging back towards the front and hope to be there at the end.
See, and this pit stop is where it gets really interesting. As Adam Pettit comes back down pit road, he is going to get some damage repaired is what it seems like. But this is the pit stop that was really interesting because a lot of those cars on that long run scraped the wall, touched the wall, had a little bit of damage, and we're seeing a lot of these cars from 22nd on back all get damage repaired. So even the 17th place car, Devin Zimmerman, had about 3 or 4 seconds of damage repaired. So a lot of people getting that little bit of minor cosmetic damage repaired so they can make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what scares me right here, Sean, is when these guys come back down to get a little more damage fixed because of the league rules and our racing rules. Those guys will fall to the tail end of the field. They basically will be put single file. They won't be too wide on the restart like everybody else will. So that can cause that much bigger of an accordion effect. And you also have to think about it, Sean. If you take 40 cars, you stack them up 2 by 2, they're going to take the same car lengths as 20 cars would. You take these guys, you put them single file for 40 cars deep, you're almost half a lap down by the time the green flag runs, and that ramps that urgency up just that much more. So it'll be interesting to see here what happens with Adam Pettit. I'm not counting him out of this race just yet. You will definitely see him move through the front, but he's going to have to get a lot of breaks to fall his way to be back up there to contend.
Yeah, he took a good 34 seconds there to get some damage repaired, and it looks a little bit better there.
Yeah, pit crew definitely beat that right front fender up just a little bit. Make sure that it's not down on the tire. You know, I can't really tell if they pulled out the damage on the rear end. Yeah, they pulled that rear bumper out just a little bit. That 30-some seconds there, Sean, there may be a couple more minutes worth of damage that they may be able to get down and get repaired. But right now, the car's going to drive a lot better than what it was. They're going to point this thing back towards the front. But up here, man, Dylan Patterson's going to have the restart, only our second leader this evening.
Yeah, Landon Lacey there on the outside, and Vincent Cortez right there behind Dylan Patterson on the inside line. And Vincent has been extremely patient to this point, but he has got the car that could get some stuff done.
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how a different philosophy on restart is going to work up here as we work towards our halfway point, Sean, because you saw Adam Pettit, how he restarted so many of these restarts tonight. Dylan Patterson may have a different way of doing this. We're going to find out what happens when this iRacing pace car gets to pit road here in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got Greg Olenek back there in 5th, Joshua Marcy in 4th, Joshua Siegfried up there in 6th, and he's got a fan out there in the chat in Brooke Lemke saying, let's go number 60. So got a lot lot of great cars up here, and it's going to be great to see who wins this thing. But we're not even halfway yet, man. Let's get this party started again.
Yes, sir. Dylan Patterson on the gas deep into turn number 1. Pulls away from everybody behind him. You know, with the type of speed that he showed in the short run as well as the long run a little bit ago.
Landon Lacey!
Off of turn 2. Landon Lacey into the wall. Everybody's skirting to move around him. Cars going underneath the 24. 3 wide into turn 3. What a big stack up there, Sean, and it happens just that fast.
And that's those cold tires coming off that corner. I'm not sure anybody touched him at all. I think that was self-inflicted. We'll have to go back and take a look at that when we get the next chance. But let's head back up front as Dylan Patterson starts to pull away because of that.
Yeah, and Sean, another thing here that could have been, and I see it happen so much, like you mentioned on the cold tires, a lot of these drivers go through and you have a brake-by system to where you can crank more brake pressure to the front brakes or more brake pressure to the rear brakes, and it can have a handling effect on the cars, especially on a heavy braking track like here at Dover. He might have had his brake-by still set up to the front of the car like he does when he comes into pit. When he went to go jam those brakes on, the rear brakes may not have done what he was expecting and kicked that car around just a little bit.
Well, let's take a quick moment here. We're going to do a really, really quick wreck replay, or at least try to here.
And this wreck replay brought to you by the Beer Street Journal, always reminding you to please drink responsibly.
Well, it doesn't look like I can find it here. I'm trying to find it. I apologize.
That's all right, Sean. Hey, listen,
Here we go.
I know when I'm in the presence of greatness, I get a little nervous myself. So I can't blame you here, buddy. Yeah, Dylan just takes off here. Landon's going to get right back in line. Dylan moves up the track in front of him. He's going to have to fight off Vincent Cortez to his inside. I think he's going to have a little deeper of a run, come up into turn number 1, off of turn number 2. When they come off of turn 2, yeah, that rear end just starts to move. He tries to correct it, does what he can to keep it out of any other drivers and put it in the outside wall a while. I hate that for Landon Lacey. The other drivers probably appreciate it a ton for moving it up there to the wall.
Yeah, and that's a tough decision to make there, man, because you know if you go back into that wall again, you're just going to give yourself even more damage. But he did not want to cause a big pile up, and so he stayed up there at the top, took that extra damage. He's still up in 13th, but he is not going to have a chance to win this thing unless he gets some repairs done.
I'll tell you right now, one driver that I definitely have my eye on is Vincent Cortez. He was starting to move up on that group of 3 towards the end of that last run there, Sean. Right now, he's fighting Dylan Patterson for this lead.
Yeah, and I was saying before, he has shown excellent patience, but now is the time. He is not stuck behind anybody except for Dylan Patterson. This is the time that he's got in order to either track down Dylan or just kind of hang with him here for a little while. Let's see these two cars kind of pull away a little bit, and maybe they can decide it at the end.
Well, Sean, I think the big strategy you've got to look at right now, these cars cannot go to the end on fuel. There's definitely one more pit stop that they're going to have to make. So if you're some of these guys like Dylan Patterson, Vincent Cortez, Josh Marcy, Greg Olenek, all the way back to Daniel Bowler in 7th, Justin Scruggs in 8th, Schumacher in 5th, Siegfried in 6th, some of these guys, you're sitting here looking at it, you're looking at your the leader's advantage, and you're kind of saying, okay, when do I make that pit stop? Do I want to be the first guy on pit road if it goes green? Do I want to be the last guy on pit road? There's just so many different choices to be made here, Sean. But like I said, we have a lot of cars, a lot of laps still to go, still 71 to go here at Dover. So this thing's not even close to being done.
Well, we saw that last night in the truck series where we had a couple of cars or a couple trucks come down into pits really, really early, and then they got caught by a caution, and really it destroyed their race. So we'll see if anybody makes that same move. It is definitely a risk, but it could be very rewarding if it goes green.
There's so many tracks, Sean, I'm willing to go ahead and try that green flag stop. As you see, the leaders get to some lap traffic here. They're going to have to move up.
Oh, my goodness. Whoa.
Vincent Cortez gets into the back of that lap car.
Caution. That was a little strange. Josh Witt was down on the bottom, kind of trying to stay out of the way, it looked like. But we're going to have to go back and take a look at that as we're under our 6th caution of the evening.
Man, you hate to see that for Vincent Cortez, but I tell you what, Dylan Patterson, the competition that was coming behind him, he's not too upset about it, man. But yeah, let's definitely take a look here. You see Patterson move to the outside of this 61 car when they get to the turn 3, and then just, he's down here. He's on the inside lane. He's at everyone's way. They go to the outside, and then, oh man, that was about as much net code as I could have possibly even imagined there, Sean.
And got into Josh Marcy too.
Did you see the way that the car just kind of, it just kind of pile drives in here? Look, they both hold their line. They're not moving. Man, I tell you, that's rough. That is just awful. I don't know how much damage Vincent Cortez has out of this. Sometimes you get lucky, Sean, with these net code incidents, and you don't actually have damage on your car. But I don't know, man. Looking at it from that point of view, it maybe just kind of looks like that Vincent Cortez maybe just misjudged where that lap car was and just got him there in the right rear of the back deck lid.
Yeah, extremely unfortunate for him because he was having a fantastic race, but he will fall back as looks like we've got a few guys going back down into the pits again. I'm trying to find out exactly, and it looked like our leader did as well. So Dylan Patterson goes down into the pits, Vincent Cortez as well. Now, Vincent Cortez comes out in front of Dylan Patterson, so he came down for just a regular pit stop is what it looked like. And
yeah, you could... Sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, a little bit just kind of almost bizarre that he got into that type of an incident, gets into pits, does his normal service, gets back out, and now he's out in front of the guy that was leading the race.
That screams to me net code, Sean, because like I said, when I look at it, you look at the left side of that 69 car, it doesn't actually look bad. There's a little crinkle right below where the jack would go on the left side. Other than that, that car looks spotless. So like I was kind of telling the fans at home, sometimes you will get these netcode incidents. iRacing will incorrectly basically think based off of internet lag, the fact of its computer and not real life graphics, obviously, that it thinks two cars have collided, and it will make them react as such. However, there's all these other parameters and whatnot, Sean, that basically detail when a car is damaged and when they're not. And like I said, with that 69 car of Vincent Cortez, he may not actually be damaged due to that netcode, Sean. It may have looked bad, it may have looked awful, but once again, he may have actually gotten away scot-free with this one.
Yeah, a little bit of damage there on the left side, but I'm not sure it came from that. And so now a few cars did not pit. So Jordan Bain, Sean Hamilton, Aaron Gerwitz, Corey Saucier, Brian Huntley, and Devin Zimmerman did not pit. So our top six are on a little bit older tires, about 15 laps older. But again, this is a risk-reward deal where if they can stay out there for about another 15 to 20 laps, and then there's a caution that comes out, they could potentially be in the catbird seat.
Yeah, and it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens here, Sean, with these guys. I don't know how these old tires are going to work out, because it looks like here you see Vincent Cortez drop it to the back of the field, Sean.
It looks like he might have gotten an EOL for causing that caution. And so even though he may not have received any damage or anything, it looks like the league admins have determined that he was the one that brought out the caution by misjudging that line. And so he's going to have to drop back to the back of the pack and work his way back forward.
Super unfortunate there for Vincent Cortez, Sean. A new rule this season in Speed Racing Network, the cause caution rule. The admins will review every caution and kind of determine if they see an at-fault moment, then they're going to go through and move a driver to the rear of the field, a more severe punishment based off of more severe offenses. But Vincent had a lot of speed here tonight. He's going to have a lot of track position to make up, so hopefully in the next 65 laps he can be back up front. But right now, you got Jordan Bain in the 28. He's going to have the field to his rear. Be watching for some rear wheel spin here, Sean, as he gets onto the gas. Down in for turn number one he goes.
Yeah, it looks like that top six did just fine getting out of there. So we will see how far out front they can get before these guys from 7th on back start catching them up a little bit with those new tires.
And sometimes these new tires right here, Sean, if you're that leader in Jordan Bain, as you see a big block being thrown there down the back straightaway, looked like Dylan Patterson possibly was trying to get underneath somebody.
We got a caution. Big Rex.
Big Rex in the middle of turns 3 and 4 here, Sean.
Greg Olenek involved.
Greg Olenek caught up in it.
Adrian Schumacher involved as well.
Well, Sean, this is going to let us go through here, maybe crack open one or two of those Oktoberfest the Beer Street Journal told me I need to get a hold of here. But I don't think that would be drinking responsibly like they ask, would it?
No, not really. Not you can't drink and work at the same time. It doesn't work that way. But it looks like Dylan Patterson got down to the inside. They were 3 wide, and then all of a sudden, I believe that's Josh Marcy in the 35 got spun. Looks like Adrian Schumacher involved as well. Greg Olenek involved. The 43 involved as well. So all sorts of damage once again, and again, no fast repairs. So every time this happens, this is just hurting their chances to do anything on the track.
Yeah, it. Hopefully with it here, Sean, we can get these guys going green. But this is, kind of like we mentioned here, this is new tires versus old tires. Oh, man. Wow. Daniel Bowdler getting past that one.
That was some pretty hefty. It's Josh Marcy there on the outside in the 35, and nothing came close to him.
No, that is just net code through and through. I mean, my goodness, Sean, that was a 1.5 foot that you could have fit between the right front of whoever was to his inside and then his left rear.
Yeah, that was a little bit ridiculous. You'll see here, there was no contact there at all.
No, that's unfortunate, Sean. Sometimes when it comes to these netcode incidents, it kind of depends on the night, the internet connections, the servers. Sometimes you have good nights, sometimes you have not so good nights, but right there, that was a lot of racing for position, trying to get the best that you can out of those tires, and sometimes incidents happen, and like we said earlier, 3 wide doesn't work here very well.
Well, let's see. Jordan Bain got an incredible restart, even on the older tires, so he is out there up front. And Aaron Gerwitz, his teammate, there in second. So Rev Racing really doing some damage out there on the track, getting hopefully moving up those point standings.
Well, the point standing's definitely going to take a jumble tonight here, Sean. And, I think with some of these guys tonight, a 15th place finish with the damage that some of these guys have would be considered a huge win at this point. I tell you what, I don't know on that last wreck. Looking at Daniel Bowdler, it looks like his car is pretty clean other than maybe that rear just kind of bent up just a little bit, but he barely missed that to the outside.
Yeah, and you had mentioned him a little bit earlier, so I took a look. This is the first time that he's been in the top 10 all night long. And so he started off in 20th, and he has worked his way up slowly into the top 10 now. But the biggest mover of the night, Seth Reed, started off in 35th position. Remember, he is second in points coming into this thing, and he has worked his way all the way up into 12th. And so that's why he is up towards the top of the leaderboard as far as points are concerned.
Well, like I said, Sean, so many different schools of thought when it comes to these races. Start in the back, start in the front, start in the middle, work your way, be conservative, whatever it may be. And right now, whatever Seth Reed has on his agenda for that 81 car, it's worked every single week.
Now, Jordan Bain was a newcomer to Rev Racing last season, and now really solidifying his spot out there, and definitely up there in the front. But Aaron Gerwitz, one of our finalists in the Xfinity Series playoffs last season, and he is up there in second place. So Rev Racing putting together another great team this season, and we will see if they can move up to challenge Roel Motorsports or R&D Motorsports.
I'll tell you right now, one car I've got my eye on, Sean, Devin Zimmerman there in fourth. We saw him involved in that initial lap, coming to the green wreck. Doesn't look like that car really has a scratch on it. He comes out with some of the most beautiful paint schemes I see year in and year out. Love that metallic blue that he's got on there right now. And, here's someone who we've seen him for a couple seasons now with Speed Racing Network. I definitely think he's ready to get his name in that winner's column.
Yeah, definitely. And another car to mention is Sean Hamilton here for SRR. Now, on the outside of his car, on the right side, he does have some damage, but he's up there in third because of this pit strategy, and we'll see how well that works out for him. But don't look past Corey Saucier back here in fifth. Again, older tires, but he knows how to work those things. So Jordan Bain takes off as the green flag comes out.
Well, green flag back out here at Dover, Sean. Jordan Bain with a huge jump on everyone behind him. Sometimes having those worn tires can get you out in front a little bit better just because they hook up. just the tiniest bit better on these restarts. As you see Devin Zimmerman working that outside to absolute perfection as he moves up into the second spot.
Yep, Zimmerman takes control of the second spot as Aaron Gerwitz falls backwards one. But Dylan Patterson coming back once again, brand new tires here. So he has worked his way into third, and he's probably got the fastest car out there right now.
Oh, yeah. Right now, if you're Jordan Bain, Devin Zimmerman, you see how fast Patterson's coming behind you. You kind of took your gamble earlier in the race to learn what old tires would be doing for you. As you see Patterson just get so much of a run. It's not down the straightaway, but just look how much of a run he gets in the center of a corner. That's where those 15-lap fresher tires are going to mean the most for you. He's going to work to the inside of Zimmerman. He's going to pick him off for second, point the nose of that 8 machine up towards Jordan Bain in first, and he's going to be there in a quick hurry, Sean. But I tell you what, that gamble that these drivers took right now, you may see that play some type of an effect here at the end of this race here in just a little over 50 laps.
Yeah, Dylan definitely tracking down Jordan Bain here, but you got to also remember that everybody on the track has to pit one more time at least during this race. And so because of that, even Dylan Patterson getting this great run right now, he may not be clear once he passes Jordan Bain, if he passes him, because everybody's going to have to be on even keel here shortly.
Well, when I look at it here, man, when I look back in terms of vehicles that have tires, you just look outside of this top 3, Corey Saucer is almost 3 seconds behind your leader, Jordan Bain. So if I'm Dylan Patterson, man, I'm telling you, I am happy as can be. I want to go ahead and get this lead, sail away, make these guys kind of fight each other in this traffic back here, get as much out of these tires as what I can, run this thing almost to the end, and hey, if you got a big enough of a lead at the end, Sean, and it does come to green flag pit stops, you give yourself a little room for a mistake possibly.
Yeah, Daniel Bowler restarted this time around in 10th. He is already up to 5th. And so those new tires definitely playing a part. But Dylan Patterson has caught up to Jordan Bain, and we'll see how long it takes for him to make that move. There he goes.
It takes about that long there, Sean. He's down to the inside of Jordan Bain in turn 1, going to clear him. 8 car back to the front as he works his way up off turn 2 here at Dover.
Now, between the 8 car and the next car that has brand new tires, which is Daniel Bowdler, he's got 2.5 seconds. And so Dylan Patterson already gaining a 2.5 second lead on probably his best competition out there. And so he is sitting pretty for the time being.
Well, one thing I could definitely say about Daniel Bowdler, having run against him for a few seasons, Bowdler has a very select group of tracks that he is very, very good at. Sean, I'm going to tell you right now, last season with Speed Racing Network in the Cup Series, I was struggling bad here at Dover. I don't know if you remember or not, man, but I dropped all the way back to 15th, 16th, 17th. I didn't even have a lick of damage on the car, and just this voice comes over my radio, and it's Daniel Bowdler saying, Dean, you're messing up this part of the track. You're messing up this part of the track. And I turned around, did exactly what Bowdler said, and from that point, with less than half a race to go, I managed to get myself all the way back to a top 5 position. And so he knows what he's doing around here. He pointed me to a very good finish. He knows what he needs to do. And right now, he's got to get clear of this lap traffic. He's got to go. He's got to keep that lead as close as he can, so when those green flag pit stops do come out, he can try and get the most he can out of it and possibly force Dylan Patterson into a mistake or possibly beat him on pit road, Sean.
Well, he and all these other cars passed Corey Saucier to move up in the 4th through 7th positions. So now the 4th through the 7th positions all have brand new tires, and they are working their way forward to try to catch up to Devin Zimmerman, who is a couple seconds ahead of them.
Hey, a couple cars I want to point out here for you, Sean. Right there in 5th, Josh Siegfried kind of been flying under the radar here this evening in that 60 car, running very well for Rev Reloaded. You see a little bit of hood damage there on that right side. Beautiful looking race car, as all the Rev cars usually are. Then Dustin Scruggs right behind him in the 11th car. The big one I'm looking at, man, look back there in 8th. Look at Landon Lacey after he got into the wall a little earlier. He's got some of that damage fixed. And sometimes, Sean, hitting the wall like that, once you get that damage fixed, it can make the car go faster because, hey, she's just a little skinnier than what she was before.
Yeah, he took over a minute to repair damage. Now, in iRacing terms, that is a lot of time to sit in the pits to get your damage repaired. And so he sat there for over a minute, got that damage repaired, and now he is up in the top 10 and running some people down. So don't look past Landon Lacey there at all, but Dylan Patterson starting to kind of walk away a little bit from Jordan Bain. He has increased his lead over Daniel Bowdler, who is the next closest on fresh tires, to 3.6 seconds.
And Sean, like we said, we keep talking this strategy, we keep talking this and that. We get another caution, that's all out the window, because right now the fuel window is wide open for these guys if the caution comes out. They can take it and make it to the end, but they're still going to be super close, Sean, just because if you wind up going to green, white, checker finishes, you could see that fuel come into play. We saw it at Daytona just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd like to know who's going to take the first swing here. Who is going to be far enough down in the pack, 18th to 25th position, and decide, you know what, let's pit right now, get a little bit of track position if this thing goes green the rest of the way. Who's going to take the risk? Nobody's taking it yet.
Yeah, and Sean, I think if you're those guys way far back in the field, you can't take that risk. If you're any of these guys right here that's in the top 10, up to 6 seconds back with Jose Castellanos, you can afford to kind of go through here, maybe take tires with 40, 30 laps to go, and try and run those tires for everything you've got. Because, right now, Sean, from the start of the pits to now, what have times fallen off here? 0.8 of a second, a second and a half, maybe?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a big fall off here. One of those guys that I'm looking at right now, to be completely honest with you, is Adam Pettit. Back here in 20th place. He last pitted on lap 82, so his tires are relatively fresh. If he comes in right now, he is taking a swing for the fence, but look at the car. It's all beat up anyway. He's all the way back in 20th place already. Why not take the risk?
Yeah, and here's the thing. With those tires, Sean, if you're running a second and a half faster than some of these guys, eventually those tires are going to equalize. But you got to look at how much time you're going to lose in the pits, but how much you're going to gain when your competition comes back in pits. If you can sit out there and run, Sean, 15, 20 laps, running a second and a half over these guys, you see a little contact here with Mike Lepicki, that can mean the difference. These guys may get tires late in the race, and they just may not have enough time to utilize them to get back to you. So, like I said, the strategy book is wide open. It's just going to be a matter of who's willing to jump onto what page here.
Well, and the other thing to think about here is a lot of these cars that stayed out, they pitted on lap 67. We're on lap 110 right now, so they're 43 laps in. We said that they can make it about 50 to 55 laps, and so it's coming up to that time to pit anyway. So, again, it's a matter of who's going to take the first swing, and still nobody taking that shot.
I'm going to tell you right now, Sean, if I'm someone sitting there like I'm sitting there watching the ticker just click off. You got Jordan Bain now almost 3.25 seconds behind Dylan Patterson that fast. Devin Zimmerman 4 seconds. Daniel Bowdler almost 5 seconds. If I'm these guys right here, I think you've got to come here soon to kind of force the leaders down. But at the same time, you don't want to be that guy that gets caught on pit road if a caution comes out. I just think it's going to be coming here anytime now. Someone is going to try that short pit strategy just to see if it gains them a couple positions or more.
The other risk here, risk-reward situation is that first car comes down. Let's say that it's Jordan Bain. Let's say that it's Devin Zimmerman. Once they come in, do you as Dylan Patterson or Daniel Bowdler go in at the same time as them just to kill all their momentum there?
Oh, someone hits a wall there off turn 2. That's the $1 million question here, Sean. It looks like Landon Lacey. Okay, he's on pit road here, Sean. He's going to be the one to try to go through and jump into it first. We got about 37 laps to go here. Jordan Bain, look how far Dylan Patterson has walked him in that amount of time, Sean. You see that blue car way out in the distance just getting bigger and bigger. That's Dylan Patterson. As he's coming by the start-finish line, you're barely exiting turn 4. So, like I said, those tires, Sean, another big thing you have to watch out for, like with Landon Lacey coming to pit there, you're going to be so much astronomically faster than anybody else that it's going to be hard to pick moves sometimes, just because you're going to want cars to go one direction. You're going to have to go the other just to get around these guys.
Yeah, but the other thing with that is that you're also 2 laps down now. So Landon Lacey will come out 2 laps down behind Dylan Patterson. So he is taking a swing for the fence here, and we will see how that works out for him. Dylan Patterson still leads this thing by 3.6 seconds, and Daniel Bowdler and Seth Reed, who are next closest on fresh tires, they are 5 seconds back.
Some of these guys, Sean, like Daniel Bowdler and Reed and Zimmerman and Bain, they are hoping for a caution right now. There is nothing that they would love to see more than that yellow flag fly to kind of put this field back together, get everybody on equal tire strategy. But, if I've got my math figured out about right here, Sean, and heaven knows because it's me, I probably don't, I figure you're going to have to see most of these guys coming to pit road with about 20 to 15 laps left to go. It's going to be the absolute stretch extension of the fuel run here at Dover this evening. When it winds up getting to that point, you may see some guys start taking 2 tires just to get in and out. You may see some guys go fuel only just to cut a few seconds off of someone else's pit stop.
Yeah, you saw Dustin Scruggs there come on down pit road. So one of our leaders jumping down in there. Jordan Bain, again, he's 51 laps into this fuel run. So he has got to be running extremely lean right now. So we'll see how that plays out. But Daniel Bowdler is losing positions on the track right now. So not sure if he's just holding back to hopefully see a caution or what.
Yeah, I don't know, Sean. Like I said, I'm just going based off the information I was told on fuel mileage. If some of these guys can go longer than that, you may have some of these guys trying to stretch it out. I just cannot possibly see, though, these guys stretching it out 70 laps to end this race. There's just no way.
It would have to be 68 laps, all green flag. That's tough, man.
Yeah, I just can't see that. But you see the speed difference right here. Look at Landon Lacey. He's going to just move straight to the inside of Dylan Patterson, and he is gone, Sean. So there's one of those laps back just that fast.
Yeah, he still has a lot of work to do. But Nathan Nixon comes down into pit road as well. Haven't really said his name too much tonight. But Dylan Patterson just really...
Patterson's going to be getting on the pit road here, Sean.
Oh, wow, that's going to undercut everybody. So the worst possible scenario for him is that a caution comes out. Best possible scenario is this thing goes green because nobody's anywhere close to him on the track, and now he's got fresh tires.
That's exactly right. If you're the rest of the field, Sean, you have got to be ready to pit this time by. You have no other way about it. You have to be ready for it or hope, like you said, you get around, you get him a lap down or so, and you get this caution flag. As right now we see Seth Reed going up front to take the lead on these older tires. That's the call, man. You have got to pit or hope for the caution if you're someone farther back. And let me tell you something. You start getting some of these guys a lap down or so, a caution would throw this thing into an absolute completely different dimension in terms of craziness.
It would just be completely insane, even more so than it already is. Daniel Bowdler out here in second, still 2.9 seconds behind. He's going to come down to the pit road. I think something may have been wrong there. He was falling back a lot during the end of that run.
Yeah, I tell you, Sean, when you start getting tires here that you have overheated and that you are running entirely too hard, it does not take long to start falling back. It does not take long at all. And like I said, Daniel Bowdler, one of the guys who I have raced against for a couple seasons, always runs his stuff hard. Very, very tough to catch him. But if he overcooks them, or if any driver overcooks those tires, it doesn't take long for the fall off to come. Now, like I said, you just look here in this little bit of time. It took Bowdler about 2 seconds to come to pit. That's that much more time that you're going to have Dylan Patterson pull back on him. So, like I said, we're running through green flag pit stops right now, Sean, but with almost 25 laps to go, this thing's far from finished. Like we said, we have no idea what we got in store left.
No clue what's going to happen the rest of this way. But out there in the chat, you got Lucas Lyons saying, come on, Rev, don't do what I do. Don't speed on pit road. So Lucas Lyons got caught speeding on pit road last night. He was up in the top 5 when that happened. So especially on these green flag pit stops, that is tough thing to swallow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a tough one to swallow there. And I can tell you, Sean, Dover is probably, in my mind, the second hardest pit road to get onto under green flag conditions. Darlington is going to take that through and through every single time because of how it falls off the track. But here, Sean, like most tracks you're exiting turn 4, you're kind of slowing down. You say, okay, here we go. You can't do that here, man. You're starting to slow down about the time you enter turn 3 to get on the pit road here.
Yep, Joshua Siegfried coming down. He was in 3rd place there. We were keyed in on Dylan Patterson up into 16th place. He is still a lap and a half down. And so he is going to get back on the lead lap as long as this thing stays green. And if that happens, then he is going to walk away with this thing. But it looks like Adam Pettit pitting as well. Corey Saucier pitting as well. So Seth Reed still leads this thing. He last pitted on lap 82. And I believe we are sitting here coming pretty good. We're at 127 now. Oh, a little bit.
3 wide. What a move. What a move there. Good job by LePicky. Just threaded the needle on those new tires. Got out of there. Didn't have any issues with the leaders. Just gets out and he's gone. Now, Sean, you look right now, you got 9 cars on the lead lap. If a caution were to come out right now, these top 9 guys would be the first ones to get tires. Everybody else would get waved around. But then you got this very, very interesting scenario of, oh man, do we take the wave around? What do we do? Right now, Greg Olenek is going to go ahead and get down on the pit road. He got everything out of that he could, like I told you, trying to slow down in turn 3. But up front, Seth Reed continues to lead here, Sean. But like I said, if you're Seth Reed right now and a caution came out, you are the happiest man on this racetrack.
I want to say I just heard Seth Reed's car cut out. Maybe he's just he's throttling this thing. He's shutting it down.
Yeah, it looks like he is pushing the clutch in here, Sean, just to try and save a little bit of fuel. I just can't see him making it all the way. I could be wrong, man, but I just don't see this happening.
Oh wow, he is cutting the car basically completely off going into the corners, and so we will see how long that set. Now he's still got a 5-second lead on 2nd place, Adrian Schumacher, who last pitted on lap 87. So Adrian Schumacher could still be pitting here anyway. So we'll see how this works out. But Dylan Patterson has worked his way into the lucky dog now, and he has a close moment there. But Dylan Patterson will get that lap back. So now Dylan Patterson back on the lead lap with those fresh tires.
Well, Sean, he's back on the lead lap here, and this is where the interesting part comes about. Like I said, I don't know what the fuel strategy up there with the 81 quite looks like. I have no earthly idea. He is shutting this car off, and whether that be to try and get every lap out of this in prayer of a caution that he can, or if he has some type of a plan to run this thing all the way to the checkered flag on the fuel he's got, I don't know. But with 18 laps to go, the plot thickens here at Dover.
Wow, he is getting everything he can possibly get out of this tank, and it looks like he is not going to take the risk of coming down into pit road at all. He's either hoping for a caution or he is hoping to make it the rest of the way. It's got to be a caution. There's no way that you can make it 68 laps. No chance.
There's no way. And here's the big thing he's got the problem of right now. Dylan Patterson is sitting here chunking out about 2 seconds a lap over him. So even if you somehow manage to make the fuel to the end of this race, I don't see you winning this race, Sean. I mean, you're looking at maybe a 2nd, 3rd, 4th at best.
Adrian Schumacher doing the same thing.
Sean, I have no idea what we're seeing here, man. If this turns into a fuel winning, if this turns into a winning strategy on this fuel, I will go ahead and eat the crow that I said that couldn't be eaten. But right now, this is crazy. They're just hoping for this caution, I think.
This is incredible. You got Seth Reed, who last pitted on lap 82, clutching it in the corners so he can get more fuel mileage out of it. You got Adrian Schumacher, who last pitted on lap 87, so 5 laps later, and he's clutching it. Josh Marcy, let's see what he's up to. Let's see if maybe he's doing the same thing.
Sean, since that last pit stop, have we had any cautions? I can't recall.
We had one at lap 86. I apologize. We had one at lap 86, but looks like Josh Marcy is still in it. So he is still in it, and he just passed Adrian Schumacher.
Sean, here's what I'm looking at right now that I get that information. You're looking at most caution flags being 3 to 4 laps here on iRacing. During that time, those drivers could be shutting these cars off the whole time. If these drivers were shutting these cars off, saving fuel, and you said they pitted last with how many laps to go? I'm sorry, Sean.
They last pitted, so Seth Reed last pitted on lap 82. So there was still 68 laps to go.
Okay, so Sean, here's what I'm looking at. If they went through and they pitted, right, they get their car topped off with fuel, they probably run another 3 laps under that caution, 4 laps under the other caution. That's 7 laps under caution. So we're still asking these guys to go 61 laps green on fuel. If the 55 was the top of that mark, and that's the absolute most they could go, maybe saving that many laps of fuel may not be as far-fetched as we think it is.
This is absolutely insane. You got Seth Reed doing that, Joshua Marcy. Brandon Domain has moved up into the third. He has not pitted yet, but Dylan Patterson has moved back into the top 5 on fresh tires. He is 10 seconds behind. Watch the left of your screen where you've got the Dylan Patterson in 5th and Seth Reed up there in 1st, and look how quickly Dylan Patterson is knocking that time down.
Reed is hoping right now, Sean, like we said, either for a caution or he is hoping that Patterson gets himself into some lap traffic that is hard to navigate. But you just look, he got back around him with 18 laps to go. In 7 laps, Sean, he has cut 12 seconds almost out of that lead. There is no way that Reed is going to be able to have the fuel that he needs, because even though Patterson's tires are going to continue to wear, Reed is running so much slower lap times just to hope to make it to the end on fuel.
He just crossed the start-finish line, Patterson did, at 7.75 seconds behind. And let's see how much he can gain in 1 lap. He's already down to 6.75. He might be able to gain 2 seconds a lap here, possibly. He's moving up into 4th now as Marcy has to kind of pull aside there.
2nd and 3/4 a lap here, Sean. Almost.
So
call it 2
3
seconds.
laps. So in 3 laps, Dylan Patterson is going to be on the bumper of Seth Reed, and there's still 9 to go. Ooh, Seth Reed needs a caution. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, and then the question comes, though, Sean, if you get the caution, is anybody else going to pit? Like, I mean, you just know what track position means right now.
Oh, this is absolutely insane. And in fact, if there's a
Here's
caution,
the lap traffic. Here's the lap traffic that Reed was hoping for. He has got to hope that Patterson has the worst time navigating through these guys. And it doesn't look like he is. He's going to get right up here to the back bumper of Brandon Domain, about 4 seconds back. And Ryan Ducombe there's on the outside. It's going to take away a little bit of that line. But here we go, Sean. Patterson's going to be looking to the inside of Domain here for turn 1. And it is nothing but clear sailing from here to that leader.
So 3-second difference between Dylan Patterson and Seth Reed with 7 laps to go. And we will see exactly what happens with Seth Reed. And at this point, he's kind of made his bed. So going on board with him, I mean, he is not even getting up to 7,500 RPM. He is really babying this thing.
And here's the thing, Sean. He's probably going to lose this lead on the next lap. When he does, it's going to take away a little bit of that excitement, so to speak. But at the same time, he definitely can go through here, salvage him a top 5 finishing position this evening, and that would be a win in its own right for this 81 car.
Wow, and even Adrian Schumacher, who was doing the same throttling, doing the same thing, is still up in 3rd. And here comes Dylan Patterson trying to make that pass for the lead. And once he does, he is just going to start walking away.
And I'll tell you what, looks like here, it kind of almost looked like Reed gave it a little more juice than he had the previous few times. Made Patterson work for it, but Dylan Patterson handily going to take this lead, going to begin walking away from the field. But right now, we're looking here at Reed there in 2nd, just trying to see where he's going to wind up playing out here. But right now, so long as this thing stays green, Dylan Patterson's going to take this win handily. And if I'm not mistaken, Sean, would this not be his first win with Speed Racing Network?
I can't remember if he won one last season or not. I'll tell you that this will be the first time all season that I've picked the winner. Just throwing it out there.
Well, there is truly a first time for everything, so I guess we're going to have to give you this one here.
I got to tell you, the reason I picked him, he's driving an Oreo car, man. Come on, I'm a fat guy.
Well, I mean, I am too, but that's kind of why I picked the Moo and Brew. I like steak and beer. Come on, man.
There you go. See, we pick our stuff not based off the talent of the driver, even though Dylan Patterson is extremely talented, but off of our stomachs.
Well, you know, the gut never lies, and it looks like here coming to 2 laps to go, Sean, your gut's not going to be treating you very wrong here. Patterson's going to take this lead down into turn number 1. A couple faster cars behind him. He's just going to move over, let those fresh tires go. on with his night. He's going to head down the back straightaway for the next to last time here at Dover.
Yeah, you saw one of those cars being Brandon Domain. Brandon did everything he could to stretch this thing all the way and was not able to finish it off. And so he had to come into the pits on lap 144.
Oh, looks like Reed just pitted here, Sean.
Yep, Seth Reed is out of fuel.
He tried. White flag is out here for Dylan Patterson, Sean. Looks like Jordan Bain's still there in second. Looks like Schumacher's in third. He looks like he may lose that podium position as Vincent Cortez is going to be bearing down on him very, very hard.
But take a look at your top 5 here. You got one guy from R&D Motorsports, one guy from Rev, and then the next 3 are Tank Racing. Tank Racing is going to get a massive points day, but Dylan Patterson is the king of the day.
Dylan Patterson is going to win here at Dover. 150 lapper here for the SRN Xfinity Series. Looks like Jordan Bain going to come home in second. Vincent Cortez there on that podium spot in third. Great run by Devin Zimmerman to finish fourth. Landon Lacey to close it out in the top 5 there after everything he went through. Daniel Bowdler up to 6. Ed Shearer there in 7th as a part-time driver for this series. Greg Olenek in 8th. Dustin Scruggs in 9th. And Schumacher going to round it out in the top 10 there, Sean.
Yeah, still a great finish for Schumacher as he was babying that car across the line as well. But Dylan Patterson really had control of this race even when he wasn't in the lead.
Yeah, he ran about as perfect of a race as you could have had here, Sean. I mean, he had about everything go right that he could have asked for. Not saying that this wouldn't have been the same finish anyway. Some of his best competition had some bad luck tonight, and like I said, he just picked it up, drove away with it. And hey, I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the stats here to see if this was his first win with SRN. But if it is, hey, there's nothing like that first win feeling.
I got to tell you, looking down the list here, rough night for Roel Motorsports. Daniel Bowdler up there in 6th, but then their next point getter was down in 28th position. And so it looks like they may lose that grasp on the lead in the team point standings.
Well, Sean, we went through the top 10 just a moment ago. Let's take a look here as Dylan Patterson continues to burn it down here. He's going to spin those Oreos on the back of that car. Let's take a look at the rest of the top 20. You had Josh Siegfried there in 11th, Mike Lepicki in 12th, Rhett Tucker in 13th. Adam Pettit going to salvage a 14th place finish this evening. Quite the disappointment. I know that's not what he was looking for. Sean Hamilton in 15th, Brian Huntley in 16th, Jose Castellanos in 17th, and Aaron Gerwitz, after being involved in that lap 1 wreck, going to bring it home 18th.
Man, what an incredible night, and all sorts of great pit strategy and race strategy, all sorts of fun here at Dover. A little rough a couple times there, but ended up being a really, really great race at the end. But let's see if we can't get a couple of interviews going on here. We'll start it off and see if we can get Vince Cortez up here in the chat with us. Vincent, Sean, and Dean up in the booth, buddy. How's it going?
Man, how about that one, guys?
Man, that was an interesting race at the end there. Tell us your secret.
I don't have one. I just go out there. To be honest, y'all, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just turning laps and hoping it goes well.
Well, buddy, it definitely went well this evening. We saw you come home with that third place finish for Tank Racing, your teammate Devin Zimmerman right there behind you in 4th. So great teams point night here for you guys. Throughout the race here, we saw the first half be a little bit yellow flag plagued here, Vincent. When it got to that last half and everything started settling into the green flag run, what was the mindset there? Was it waiting for the next caution or running everything out as hard as you could and just getting to pit road when you could?
Yeah, I mean, I was, honestly excited for those cautions because on the restart, I don't know what it was about this car, the setup, whatever it was, man. I could drive on the outside, the inside, past cars, so it was definitely fun. But, with this track and the way the tires are, the mindset's always, save a little bit because you never know, It's Xfinity Series, these guys go green a lot, so you never know if you're going to go green.
Well, Vincent, you had the race gods on your side as well as you were involved in an incident with a lap car and didn't seem to get any damage really from that. So a very, very fortunate thing for you there, and definitely that luck paying off as well as the skill as well as you were up front most of the night.
Yeah, it was a battle for the lead there. The lap car, I like to think that I didn't make contact, but I haven't seen a replay of it yet. It's unfortunate. I really think I would have been up there for the contention for the win. So,
well, man,
yeah.
Buddy, definitely a great salvage this evening. I can tell you, me and Sean were talking about the incident when it happened up here in the booth. Unfortunately, we don't have any say-so in it. The admins are going to do what they did, but for you to come from the back to third great finish this evening. Anybody that you'd like to thank before we get you back down to your team?
Oh yeah, Chicago Heart, Starts Will and Die, Lift Works, Butcher Box, EWRO, like everybody, man.
Man, great race and good job getting everybody in there, definitely. But we appreciate you being. Oh, go ahead, please.
Sorry, guys. The Anesthesia Associates, man. All of these guys, man, they invest so much in us. I'm really excited. This is the first podium for me in a long time, so really excited I got these home for these guys. Now Zim, he worked so hard over the offseason to get these sponsors. He made 15 pace games over the season, offseason to follow us. So, yeah, man, it's I'm really, really excited for the season.
Well, man, we're excited to have you here, and congratulations on a great showing here tonight. And hopefully that thing keeps going as we head to the Roval next week. But we will see you and your team there. Have a great week, buddy. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Well, Sean, there you have it from our third-place finisher. Let's see if we can't get that second-place finisher up here, Jordan Bain in that 28 car.
Trying to find good old Jordan. There he is right there, and we'll pull him up into the booth right now. Jordan Bain, Sean and Dean up in the booth. Buddy, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Man, great race out there. A lot of interesting strategy there towards the end. What was your strategy?
I mean, I knew we were good. It's just I'm not as aggressive as some of these guys out here. I try to take care of everyone on the track. And, I mean, I was hauling after like 25 laps. We only got a few long runs in there, but I mean, it was just guys, it's tough to pass, even when you're 0.3 faster than people. And so, yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to do the opposite of what the guys in front of me did, figuring some guys would stay out behind me. I only had like 15 laps on the tires, and I knew I'd taken pretty good care of them. So that was a move to put me in position to at least get a top 5. I was really happy with second. I knew I wouldn't win if it went green from there, but worked out better than I thought.
Well, buddy, we see it come down there, a pretty sizable lead to the leader in front of you. If that thing would have come down to a caution flag with 10, 15 laps to go or even less, do you think you would have had anything for the leader there?
The way it shook out, I think that would have probably been worse off because I don't think I got back to second until like 2 laps to go or something like that. If I had been, with him in a caution, I don't know. He was fast. He was definitely fast. I didn't get a chance to size him up at any point in the race where we were on equal stuff. So I'm going to assume he had me cooked on the short run. It's probably a safe assumption. So I'm always going to be much better middle of the long run. That's just the way I drive.
Well, man, we are heading next week to the Roval. What are your thoughts going into that race?
Never ran a lap there. I'm still fairly new. I've had iRacing now for about 5 months, 6 months, but I haven't had a chance to get on and race on here as much thanks to all the console stuff I've been doing and the Pro League series and stuff like that. So that's finally over, so I can dedicate some more time to iRacing, but never even ran a lap at the Roval, so I'm looking forward to getting these paddle shifters in gear and doing some testing this week, and we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, before we let you go back to your team there with that runner-up finish, anybody who you'd like to thank this evening?
Yeah, man, thanks to you guys for broadcasting, everyone who puts this league on. I'm still a fairly new guy here, and, it's fun, man. I appreciate the way everyone raced for the most part out there with everyone on different sequences. It seemed like a lot of people had some really good track awareness, which is cool to see. But yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks to Rev Racing for embracing me and bringing me in, and Sparkle and Shine and Sean for sponsoring us. And yeah, man, I'm just pumped to be here. Glad we had a good run, unlike Daytona. I'm glad that's over with.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, good luck to the Roval next week. You're going to go from plate racing to 1.5 mile to mile high bank to next week road racing. So best of luck to you, Jordan.
Get on. Hopefully I'll talk to you guys next week too.
Hey, we'll see you there, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well, Sean, we hear from third and second. It's only right we go down to victory lane here with this week's winner, Dylan Patterson for R&D Motorsports.
Yeah, Dylan Patterson, welcome up to the booth with Sean and Dean. Congratulations, buddy. Great race out there. Looked like you had it in control even when you were not even in the lead.
Yeah, that was quite the race. I was just praying that it would stay green, just like last year. I mean, I called the race last year and got some bad luck with that late yellow, but this year I just needed. I just needed it to stay green late in the race. I knew that's what it would come down to. As long as we finished that race on a long run, I had it.
Well, Dylan, we saw it come down here, start of the race. You had some competition out front. You started reeling them in. Caution came out early. It looked like your car definitely set up great on the medium to long run here. Was that just a result of saving some time a little bit at the start of a run, or was that just sheer unadulterated speed the whole time?
Honestly, here I don't necessarily try to save. I just run the same line. Try to run the same line every time. It's just that line that I run saves tires. Honestly, shout out to Derek Justice on that. I got in a Discord about a year and a half ago with him, and did a couple races in the trucks, a couple races in Xfinity here, and he really helped me out with the line here, and it's just clicked since then.
Well, me and Sean were trying to go back and forth a little bit ago, and if I am not mistaken here, Dylan, this is your first win with Speed Racing Network. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, sir, congratulations on the first one. You get that first one chalked off, and it definitely means a lot. I was fortunate to win early in my Speed Racing Network career. I've watched you here for the last couple seasons, have some ups and some downs, always towards the front. So you got that first one out of the way here, Dylan. Congratulations to you, and anybody that you'd like to thank this evening.
Just everybody involved everybody involved in running this league. I mean, this is the best league that I've been a part of, and I've been in quite a few. This is definitely the best run. If y'all are watching, thinking about joining next season, definitely. This is by far the best league, the best group of guys. So just everybody involved, it's awesome.
Well, buddy, I will tell you right now, I don't know if you're actually watching the stream or not, but if you are, then you're about to see it, because you're about to see your winner sticker go up right next to your name on your team screen. So congratulations on that. We're headed next week to the Roval, but do you have anybody that you'd like to thank here tonight? Well, you already did that, didn't you? Sorry. Here I am trying to find your winner sticker. My bad, buddy. How are you feeling going into the Roval?
I'm not. Honestly, I tend to avoid road courses just because it's not that I'm bad at it. It's just I don't have the time to take and sit and run for 3 or 4 hours on a track to try to figure it out. Whereas oval, I can kind of run a couple laps, figure it out, and adapt over a race. Whereas road racing, it's really hard to do that and be able to adapt during the race. You gotta figure it out beforehand.
Absolutely. Well, buddy, I was fortunate enough to win the last time that we went to the Roval here with Speed Racing Network. I'm going to turn it over to you here, let you get back to your team. Dylan, you got 2 wins on the season with R&D Motorsports. Congrats once again to you here from Dover.
All right, and we'll send him right back down. Ooh, Dean, that started off really kind of rocky there, but ended up being a great race. But we're going to be right back. Actually, we're going to wow, these are all off, and I apologize for that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to head back out here to the track. Ooh, just a really bad night for the producer here.
Well, not bad producer. I tell you. Time next week we're going to be here at the Roval with the Xfinity series, but Sunday night, Sean, you're going to get to see me and all the other Cup drivers do battle here for what's it going to be, 200 laps?
200 laps of Dover, and really what we saw here towards the end of the race where we had that long green flag run, if we can get that in the beginning of the run for the Cup series, I have a feeling we're going to see all sorts of different strategies just like we saw here tonight. It may come down to another fuel race.
Very well could, Sean. Jacob Smith, my teammate last season, wound up winning here at Dover last year. Dominated that race, much like you saw Dylan Patterson do here this evening. So hopefully we can carry over a little bit of that momentum. But yeah, man, it's going to be a crazy one. And then, like we said, next week, going to get the twists and turns of the Roval there in Charlotte. So, Sean, I believe it is that time, buddy. We want to thank everybody here for coming on board, sponsoring us here this evening, and for Speed Racing Network. You know the drill, boys and girls. Always want to remind you to go faster.